A Whale of the Wild by Roseanne Perry. Chapter 1. Kinship. In the early morning, before the wind of the day wakes up, before the push of the tide changes to the pull, there is nothing to stir the mist that floats above the water. Nothing but me. My family is sleeping, all rising and breathing together after a weary night of searching for and not finding salmon. I swim beside them and roll belly up, just below the surface. Each beat of my flukes makes a ring of ripples on the still water. The ripples nudge the mist. It swirls up and away from my path, as if I am some giant thing, a rising tide or a storm wind. I am not so big, not yet, for now I am just a daughter, not strong enough to be a savvy hunter like mother, nor wise enough to be a master wayfinder like great-grandmother. I am not old enough to be a mother like my cousin 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘮𝘮, and not young enough to delight my family like the younglings do with their games and sweet chirping voices. They say I will be a brilliant wayfinder someday, but I cannot imagine them following me. When I am dancing with the mist of early morning, I do not care. I roll again and let my fin break through the skin of the sea and split the fog in two. I huff a great cha out of the breather on top of my head. The sun lifts above the ridge of mountains, casting a golden glow across the Salish Sea. I turn downward, darkward, gathering speed, and then lift my head skyward. I beat my flukes hard against the grip of the earth and the weight of water, tucking my flippers close to my sides. I burst into the air and imagine myself turning into a raven and soaring among the clouds. I arch over and hit the water with a satisfying smack and a happy fizz of bubbles. When I rise to the surface again, Great Mother is there, watching me. "Beauty is the food of the mind," she says. Wayfinders are like this. They say nonsensical things. I was trying to forget about food. I was hoping to want it less. But now Great Mother has reminded me, and my hunger comes roaring back like a winter storm. "Eat a little beauty every day, my Vega, my bright star," Great Mother says. She comes over to nuzzle me. "It will give you strength." That makes no sense at all, is the thing I do not say out loud. Nobody questions the wayfinder. We follow, always, but while the rest of my family is waking up, I chase the last wisps of fog and bite into them, just in case. They are nothing but a drizzle of rain on my tongue. We gather around Mother and Great Mother, shaking off sleep, ready to follow them. "Our Chinooks will return to us," Great Mother says firmly. "They always have, since the time of ice." She leads us on, choosing a path around the islands and inlets of our home waters. Mother travels shoulder to shoulder with her. Mother is the wisest of hunters. If she cannot find our salmon, no one can, and none of us needs our salmon more. Her belly is broader every day. When I make a click stream, I can see the shape of my soon-to-be-born sister inside her. It has been a hard year, a lean year, but babies are always good luck, and she is the sister I have been waiting for my whole life. We fall into our usual places. Great Mother leads us. Mother nudges the younglings, Deneb and 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘮, to the middle, where they can be well looked after. 𝘊𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘦 swims on one side of them, Aquila on the other. I do not have a particular spot, so I tag along behind where I can hear and see everybody, but they will not pay attention to me. We are a thing to see when we travel. One fin after another cuts through the water. rising like an ocean wave, fast and sleek and strong. Sharks head for the shadows when we come around. Eels slide farther into their caves. Gulls scatter. Seals watch us from their resting spots with wide brown eyes. All day long, Mother sends her click stream into shallows and under stone arches. She circles underwater rock spires and forest-covered islands, looking for our salmon. We all search. The sea is full of fish, but none are big enough, meaty enough, rich enough. None are salmon. Pull changes over to push. The younglings are ready to eat anything that moves. Fish, 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 𝘠𝘪𝘬𝘦𝘯𝘵 chants, while Deneb fleshes out one of the spiky fellows hiding in the rocks. I have already learned my lesson about those. I am not surprised, a moment later, to see the youngling boys spitting out the pointy bits and finding not much left to swallow. I cannot blame them. Another long day of hunting, another day of hunger. The sun is going down by the time we come to a less rocky spot with a smooth bottom. I spy a pair of eyes in the mud, blinking. I stop my bubble stream and draw in a mouthful of water. You can never tell how big a fish is from the size of the eyes. In my imagination, this one is big enough to feed us all. I squirt the water out of my mouth. It lifts the fish from the mud, and in one snap, I have him. I crunch down until I hear the middle bone crack. Every fish has a middle bone, and when you break it, they stop fighting. I shake off the mud and sand. It is small, barely a mouthful. I blow out a big, sad bubble and rise for breath. Deneb spies my catch first, and 𝘠𝘪𝘬𝘦𝘯𝘵 is right beside him. Share, share. These are the first words a baby learns. We alone among the creatures of the sea share our food. My clever Vega, Mother says, always noticing the little things. It takes a sharp eye to find a flatfish. We all know that flatfish are flavorless, not quite as unsatisfying as eating clouds, but almost. Only a little one, I say. I offer her the first bite. She shares her half, so I do the same. The piece I'm left with is hardly worth swallowing. I wish I'd given the whole thing to Mother. She needs every mouthful she can get. I look through Mother's belly to see the curled shape of my baby sister. She is growing just as she should, Mother says. I promise. It is not kind to look through someone, but I cannot stop checking on Capella. I rub my head ever so gently across the stretched skin of Mother's belly. A sister of my own. Someone to love and look after. Someone to swim at my side and share the work of a wayfinder. Great Mother takes us out of the shallow and silty inlet to a place where the island is steep-sided and rocky. The push is stronger here. We rest and let it carry us along. There is a cave at the waterline that I remember from the last time we came this way. I move closer, and just like last time, there is a mother seal and her baby asleep inside. Another seal is floating just outside the cave, crunching through the skin of one of the spiny fishes without a flinch. Maybe it would not be so bad to eat a prickly one. I am hungry enough to try. I duck under the water and send out my click stream. I wait for the echo of my clicks to return, tilting my chin up to catch even the faintest sound. My clicks show me the cracks and crevices where fish like to hide, as if sunlight could reach there. I see a few of the prickly fellows, and then a big flash of silver. I quick turn, click stream again. Yes, oh yes! Smooth sides all speckled gray, a hooked mouth, and fast. A salmon! A silver! I surge forward, and it swerves toward the rocks, looking for a niche too narrow for my teeth to follow. I keep after it, and it zigzags up the face of the cliff. It jumps into the air. I scrape my side on the rocks in pursuit. I can taste it already. I snap and miss. It jumps again. I gather my strength and leap. I cannot quite grab it from the air, but with a swing of my head, I knock it against the side of the cliff. It falls back into the water, stunned. I grab it, pushing my teeth deep into its meaty sides. Salmon, at last. For a moment, I just hold the salmon in my teeth and breathe out round bubbles of bliss. I caught it all by myself. A silver, not quite as mighty as our kings, our Chinooks, but food, real food. I feel that burst of oily goodness in my mouth. It is mine, all mine. I could eat it in one bite. My family is ahead, turning into the next passage between islands. They would never know I did not share it. I take a nibble. It is as rich as I remember. I lift my head out of the water and watch my family swimming all together under the stars. One after another they breathe out a spray of air, water, and salt. Tall breaths from mother and great-mother. Medium size from 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮𝘦, who is only 20 seasons older than me. Old 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 has the biggest breaths of all. The smallest spouts come from the younglings, my brother, Deneb, and 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮𝘦 baby, 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩. They are about to move around a bend where they will not be able to see me with even the strongest clickstream or hear me if I call. My heart races. I have never been alone before. I could get away with eating my entire salmon and then catch up. I could. My stomach makes a happy gurgle at the thought. And then 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮's big fin turns, and I feel his clickstream wash over me. Mother calls my name, and then great-mother and 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮 too. They are all hungry, every one of them. Still, they are waiting for me. In the space of one heartbeat, my greed is unthinkable. A little together is more than a feast alone. So much more. I carry my salmon to them, and we share. It is not enough, not even close, but we are together, whatever the push and pull of the tides will bring. Chapter 2. Noise. Vega caught a salmon! A big one! Well, medium big. I leap right over her to celebrate. She holds it in her teeth, and I take my bite. It's been a whole season since we found a silver. Everyone says they're not as good as the Chinooks, but I'm too hungry to care. Well hunted, Mother says. It's not easy to catch one all on your own, Great-Mother adds. How did you find it? Well, Vega looks a little flustered. I'm glad I don't have to answer to Great-Mother like my sister does. She's so much braver than me. I saw a cliff face with crevices, prickly fish like to hide, so I thought a salmon might hide there too. I did not know for sure if I would find one, Vega adds. I guessed. Great-Mother gives a rare nod of approval. It's time, Mother says proudly. You can think like a hunter. Come lead us like a wayfinder. I see a flush of pink all down Vega's white belly. Time indeed, Great-Mother says. She nudges Vega into the wayfinder's position. That's never happened before. Sometimes 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮 leads when we're in an easy stretch of water. I thought Vega would be much older before it was her turn. I see a shiver of power go through Vega. She's ready. Are you sure? She says, because a wayfinder never brags. We learn to lead by trying, says Mother, and by trusting each other. You know the way. Your name's Star is at the top of the sky, Great-Mother says solemnly. Salmon season is upon us. Our kinship will be gathering. I know the way, 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮 says eagerly. The gathering place is Homeward, past this island and the next one. She goes on and on. 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮 knows everything. She is constantly at Great-Mother's side, and she always has the right answer. and she always interrupts when it's Vega's turn to talk. I could bite her. I start to sneak over to 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘦, but Uncle Regal heads me off. He puffs out a big warning bubble right under my chin. I don't know how such an old guy can move so fast. I veer away and give Vega a chirp of encouragement instead. I can find the way, Vega says. She's going to lead the way. I jump, spin, splash. I swim a circle around her, smacking my flukes on the water to announce to even the littlest fish that my sister, my Vega, will take the lead today. And she's only 44 seasons old. A legend already. I get in place to be her first follower. Also, I'm ready to bite 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘮's fluke if she does something bossy. Lead on, Mother says. Vega sweeps the waters ahead with her clickstream, even though I know she has everything memorized. She has a story for each kelp forest and funny-shaped rock. She knows where the net boats are and how to not get tangled in them. There are lots of paths through the middle islands that could take us to the gathering place. Vega will choose the best one, the one with fish to eat. As we set off, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 and Mother sing side by side and fin by fluke to 𝘊𝘪𝘵𝘩 to encourage him to stay close, just like they used to sing to me when I was small. I listen to Vega tell herself the story of each sea mark as we come to it. The steep slope with the ledge of bird nests, the rocky point with the lightning-struck tree, the sunken boat with all the eels lurking inside. I repeat every way marker as she calls them out. She's going to lead our kinship when she's old. And me? I'm going to have a fin as tall as Uncle Regal's and a wicked scar on my back just like his, proof of my brave deeds. Ahead is an open passage between the steep-sided island and the island with the shallower slope, where the water runs as fast as the wind. Vega lets us rest for a moment as she looks all around. The push is strong here, she calls out, but easier waters lie ahead. She encourages us like wayfinders do. As we round the end of the island and move into open water, the terrible roar of a human carrier reaches us. The noise is so loud, it makes everything dark. I put my head above the water to escape the sound. The churning growlers are coming right toward us. Why did Vega take us this way? We have to get out of here. My heart races. Vega's going to lead us in a different direction. I'm sure of it. She was bitten by a boat's growlers 6 seasons ago. There's still a notch on her fin. She hates the big boats. Vega hovers, completely still. I can't stop shaking, but she doesn't even flinch. So brave. She definitely has a plan. We could backtrack and go the long way around. I'm tired, but I will follow her anywhere. Vega looks at Mother, click streaming through her skin to see the baby. Mother is much more tired than me. The long way around will be hard for her, but I'll help. She can swim in my shadow when she gets tired. I look to Vega for the signal to turn back. The lights of the human carrier shine out in all directions. The honk of its horn is louder than a whole colony of long-nosed seals. We have to get out of here now. Come on, Vega calls. Stay close. She plunges into the passage ahead of the human carrier. For a moment, we all pause, trying to understand why she would risk the growlers of the human carrier. But she's my sister, my wayfinder, and I'm the first to follow her. Coming, I shout to Vega over the noise. She knows we can cross in time. Why else would she take the chance? I wince against the pounding noise and swim to her side. Our family follows. Vega tries to hurry, but little 𝘊𝘪𝘵𝘮 can only go so fast, even with 𝘊𝘮𝘮 nudging him along. I send out my clickstream to help light our way, but the noise drowns my clicks, and darkness falls all around me. I think I hear Vega shouting, "Turn back!" Or maybe it's, "Try harder!" I spin around and around, but I can't see my family or even feel them moving beside me. The growlers thrash great clouds of bubbles into the water. The human carrier is nearly on top of us. Again I hear shouting, but I can't tell what I should do. I reach out my flippers. I know my family is close, but in the noise it feels like they're an ocean away. All I can hear is my own heart racing. Then, out of the darkness, Mother and Great-Mother appear, swimming close enough to touch me. I lean into them, shivering with relief. I'm aching to rise for breath, but the boat is too close. I squeeze my breather tight and wait. Mother and Great-Mother join their click streams together. A faint glimmer of the path ahead shines out. I swim in the shadow of the strongest wayfinders of my kinship. They take us under the boat. Vega shivers as she swims beside me, even though we are all well clear of the biting teeth on the back end. I feel the pressure of it passing above. I gather my strength and swim faster, away from the growlers, away from the groan, rattle, thrum, out of the passage between islands and into the shallows of a protected cove. I plunge into the tall, thin trunks of a kelp forest, gasping for breath. The heat of my panic drains away, and in time the shivering stops. I am cold and ashamed. Vega led us wrong. How could she? "That was too close!" I shout. "Why did you do it?" A breath later I regret it. Who am I to question a wayfinder? 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘵𝘮 never would. It was her first try. Vega's heart is racing just as fast as mine. Mother and Great-Mother go among us, soothing our fears and praising our courage. Nobody speaks to Vega. She holds herself apart from us. We rest together in the cove, dozing and waking and dozing again. The smooth, flat fronds of kelp stroke our sides, and the steady roll of the waves rocks us. Just before the sun rises, Great-Mother leads us out of the kelp and into open water. But when she turns oceanward and heads for the gathering place, Vega turns in the other direction and swims away, alone. I can't believe it. 2 wrong things in one night. Should I tell Mother? Should I not tell? Everyone has their eyes on Great-Mother. They can't even imagine leaving the family. I can't imagine it. My heart goes chasing after my sister, but the whole rest of my body sticks to my place. I know where I belong. Still, it feels like I'm being torn in two. Chapter 3. Birds. I led them wrong. How could I have chosen so badly? The bone-shaking noise of the human carrier is still in my ears. My heart is still pounding. I was sure I could get past it, but it was going faster than I thought, and Altair was so slow. What if Mother or baby Capella had gotten hurt? They are better off without me. Aquila is the one they need. She will be a perfect wayfinder someday. The sea stretches before me, and I clickstream down into the dark water, searching for salmon to eat. In the returning echoes, I see the rocky slope of the bottom. A seal and her baby, all chubby and sleek, dodge away from me as if they know what I have done. I am Vega, daughter of 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩, great daughter of Syria, of the warm land kinship of salmon eaters, I announce to them. The mother turns to blink at me and waggle her sparse whiskers. I am not the kind of orca who eats you, I add, in a spirit of fellowship. But the seal turns back to her baby and swims away. A solitary octopus slithers along the rocky slope. It dodges away from an eel's cave in a graceful swirl of tentacles. The eel lurks in her rocky cavern, all teeth and patience. I consider giving them a proper greeting, but the unfriendliness of eels and octopuses is all in the stories, so I leave them alone. If I could find salmon for my family, then I would deserve to travel with them. But salmon are not to be found, and hunger is like a stone in me. Still, I keep searching. A salmon has to eat. Out in the ocean in the cold season, I saw them gobbling up all kinds of little fishes. I change my strategy. Find the salmon food. Find the salmon, I tell myself. I reshape my clickstream to search for the feeder fish our salmon eat when we are in the ocean. I head for a shallower place. As I approach, I see a green cloud. A swarm of little creatures come to feed on the green cloud. They are too small to see, but I can hear the snap and crackle of 1,000 tiny mouths eating. I see the silver flicker of smelt and herring darting through the green cloud to snap up the invisible creatures. More little fish come, and still more, until the water shimmers like a starry sky. And now bigger hunters come. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 and puffins gather first. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 are the great fish herders of the sea. They are black on their backs and white on their bellies, just like me. They are duck-sized, and in the air they are the clumsiest birds I have ever seen. But under water they are silent and deadly. Nobody can turn and swoop and dodge like them. Sometimes I go to the shallow spots just to watch them hunt. The 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 swim around the tiny fishes, banking and gliding in even smaller circles. They drive them into a bunch, a shimmering moon of fish. The 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 pick off the herring from the edges, grabbing them by their tails and swallowing them whole. Surely salmon will come to a feast like this. How could they resist? I lurk in the shadows and wait. Gulls fly in next. They sit on the skin of the sea. They dangle their triangles and reach down to snap up fish. I search all around for salmon, but none come to take their share. I am so intent on the task that I do not even notice the whale until it is right underneath me. It is a gulper whale, a little mink. It approaches from below and lunges upward, mouth open. Its throat billows out and fills with water and fish. The whale closes its mouth and sinks back. Its tongue pushes out the water. It swallows the squirming lump of fish that remain. I pity the gulper whales, especially these little ones. They have no proper teeth, just a mouth fringed to strain their tiny meals from the water. Their blows are half-hearted. Their flippers are laughably small. Clearly, inside and out, I am the superior sea creature. And yet the mink has a mouth full of food, while I, for all my prowess, am as empty as a jellyfish. The mink swims away, leaving behind a cloudy streak that shimmers with fish scales. The 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 go back to the work of fish roundup. Puffins join them, their thick orange beaks snapping up many fish at one go. We do not eat herring, I have been told more than once. Respect the fish our salmon need. Great Mother always says, if you eat everything, you make a wasteland of the sea. Still, I am hungry, and nobody is watching. I position myself under the swirling moon of fish. I turn skyward, pump my flukes, and open my mouth. Water and fish fall in as I swim upward. Then I break into open air. I snap my teeth together and discover, to my shock, that I have caught a gull by the triangle. I try the whale's trick of pushing the water out with my tongue, only to see most of the little fish escape. But not the gull. It stays stubbornly lodged between my teeth. It flaps madly against the tender spots of my chin. I gulp down the fish, still in my mouth, and lift my head into the air. The gull screams and beats its wings against my face, even harder than before. I give it a helpful shake to loosen it, and it only screams louder. Vega, daughter of 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘦, let that bird go, 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 shouts. I spin to face my cousin. Caught again, doing something foolish. Again. Humph, I mumble, working the stuck triangle with my tongue. The gull is losing its strength to fight. I keep it carefully above the water. We do not eat birds, 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 says. Honestly, Vega, you have known this for ages. She huffs out an impatient breath. It's not hard to remember, not even for you. I concentrate on pushing the gull's triangle with my tongue, sliding it down the length of my teeth. It's not all right. It's not dignified. 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 goes on and on. I stop listening, but her words strike hard, like the frozen rain of winter. How are you going to learn it all? There's so much to remember. You have to try harder than this. I will never be good enough. I need you to try, Vega. Why won't you even try? I do try, every day. But 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 only sees when I do it wrong. I keep working to help the gull. It is not flapping at all now. What will become of us? 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 says more softly. Why can't you be more like your mother? When the gull is finally free, I nudge it, beak side up, onto the skin of the sea. Don't sink, I whistle quietly. Please don't sink. Are you listening? 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 says. You swam away. What's the matter with you? She clickstreams me fiercely, looking right through to where the herrings are sloshing unpleasantly inside me. I hate being looked through, and 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 does it to me all the time. I wish I could find an orca-sized cave to hide in like an eel. 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 glares up at the poor gull, still struggling to swim away. I give it a gentle nudge. The gull paddles and flaps. I offer another nudge, and then one more. I regret so much. Let me look at you now, 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 says, switching to her motherly tone. She clicks gently over my head. Did the bird hurt you? No, I mumble. I glance around, suddenly aware that we are alone. 𝘚𝘪𝘪𝘬𝘦 has never left 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦's side, not since the day he was born. I look again. Where could he be? For a moment I think the worst, but no, 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 would be sick with grief if 𝘚𝘪𝘪𝘬𝘦 were lost. But she is fine, a little crabby, disappointed in me as usual. She left him behind with the others, left him to find me. I am pleased, but ashamed too. We used to be best friends. All the games of tag and hide and seek and jump the fin, I miss them. But 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 is a mother now, and there is no pushing back the sun. She is too old for games, and I am too stubborn to give them up. But when Capella is born, then I will have a sister of my own to guard and play with. She will need me. Don't worry, I mumble. I won't do it again. I was just hungry, 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 says. She gives me a nuzzle like she used to. I blow a big, sad bubble. Me too, 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 says, and I think I know where to find salmon. Will you hunt with me? It's the new game, Vega. It's a better game, and we have our whole lives to play it together. Will you come? Our family needs you. I do not believe her, not in my heart. But what else can I do? I slide into 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦's swim shadow, and we head for the gathering place together, side by side, and fin by fluke. Chapter 4. Gathering. I followed 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦, not because I want to. I follow her because when I send out my clickstream as far as I can make it go, I do not see my family, not even a fleeting shadow of them. They could be anywhere. There are stories of younglings who got lost, and even whole families who disappeared and were never found again. I do not say that I am frightened. 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 would never leave her baby unless she knew how to find him again, but I do swim close enough to touch her. When I was younger, I was always measuring myself against my cousin. Height of fin, length of flipper. I was so eager to catch up. Today I am relieved to see her fin taller than mine. Glad I still have time to grow. We swim side by side, flippers touching, playing our old game of seeing how long we can hold the connection. You know, 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘰 says, we could be the first ones to find our Chinooks. They must be close, I say. The summer stars are in place. The kinship is gathering. Mountains mark the edge of the Salish Sea, like a great reef on the land. They have called the salmon out of the ocean for as long as our kinship can remember. Nobody knows exactly how the mountain speaks to the salmon, but every year rains fall in their forests and rush down in rivers and streams, pushing great plumes of gray and turquoise water into the sea. Salmon hear that call and come home from the vast ocean, feeding us on the way. When the seasons turn again, tiny salmon whoosh out of the rivers and streams, all speckled and silver like their parents. They hide in the eelgrass prairies until they are big enough to swim out into the open ocean, and then they vanish into the blue wilderness, where none of our kinship dares to go. But the mountains are faithful, and the seasons turn again. Rain falls. Mountains call their salmon home. One big circle, like the long dance we make with our whole family every salmon season. I savor the thought of being the first to find a run of salmon. Not one fish, but a kinship of them as big as a storm cloud. I want to be the first to sink my teeth in, the first to share. I am hungry not just for the feeling of a full belly. I am hungry to know that our mountains have not forgotten us. Hungry to know that our salmon have survived the blue wilderness and remembered their way home. 𝘊𝘮𝘮 and I swim toward the setting sun. We sweep the sea with our click streams. We click louder when boats are near. A little farther, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 says cheerfully. We watch porpoises content themselves with the smelt and herring, and we keep going. Below us, a gray whale is making its dull thunk-a-thunk-a-thunk call as it scoops its boring food out of the muck on the sea bottom, and we keep going. Almost there, 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘮 says, just as cheerful as before. Over here now, just beyond that sandbar, after the thing carrier passes. She is tenacious and cheerful. It is getting on my nerves. Even sea stars and brainless urchins are chomping and chewing away. When I was a youngling, I thought Great Mother knew the sea down to its last drop. I thought she and Mother and all the great mothers of my kinship were the ones to call salmon out of the ocean. But the more I learn, the more questions I have. Sometimes there are so many seals and sea lions that battles are fought over our salmon. Sometimes net boats come and take from us. Some seasons our salmon run strong, and there is enough for everyone. Sometimes the salmon come late, or only a few make it home. No one can say why. I move with her toward the deeper part of the passage, and feel a little thrill as the bottom drops out of sight. I love depths. I'm not especially fond of the spiky crab who sidewalk around down there on all those legs. Squid, also not my favorite. Again, too many legs. But I love to tell spooky stories about what lurks beyond the reach of sunlight. The same stories that 𝘊𝘮𝘮 tells me when I was young enough to believe she knew everything. Some of the stories were so scary we would both hide under our mother's flippers afterward. Mother would make her comforting thrums. Nothing hunts us, she would remind me. But Great Mother always said, there are more things in the ocean than even I have seen. I love to imagine what fearsome creatures lurk in the depths, unseen for hundreds of seasons. I long to discover what no one in my kinship has ever seen, to find something so tiny that we have overlooked it, or so deep that it lives by a glow of its own making. On the shore, just ahead, I can see piles of rectangles and streams of land boats, the roosting spot of a huge flock of humans. Our gathering place is on the far side of this human roost. 2 seamounts, tall and slender, mark the spot. All the families of my kinship have come here to watch the salmon return for as long as the great mothers can remember. The faint taste of saltier water from the ocean reminds me of winter days spent along the stormy coasts. We are close to the gathering place now. When I send out my clickstream, I can see the faint shadow of many orcas, all swimming together ahead. I cannot wait to be with them after the long season apart. I call out to them. Before they can answer, a power of the earth shakes the very stones of the sea. The first jolt hits like the punch of lightning into water. "What was that?" I shout, turning toward 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦. She swims to my side and tucks me under her flippers, like I am her own baby. Another jolt. A low grinding sound so loud I can feel it on my skin. Little sand hiders and bottom fish float up from their hiding places and hang in the water, too shocked to swim away. Bubbles whoosh upward as if some monstrous thing is breathing under the bottom of the sea. The water has a sudden bitter tang. I hide in 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦's shadow, afraid to come up for air. The bubbles stop rising as abruptly as they began, and the grinding of rock against rock stops a moment later. 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 and I rise side by side for a breath, and another. "It is a power of the earth," 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 says. She sounds as shaky as I feel. Fish hang in the water, stunned. Little sea shakes happen sometimes. I have felt them before. But this one sounded different, and I have never seen bubbles come out of the bottom of the sea. "The earth itches just as we do," 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 recites the story Great Mother told us, both when we were small. "It rolls and rubs against rocks as we do, and sometimes bits of it break free, just like we shed old skin." There is a pleading to her voice. She needs me to believe the story so she can too. I am not sure what I believe, but a familiar ache in my chest prompts me to breathe. Above water, everything looks the same. Eagles soar. Boats churn this way and that. Ashore, among the piles of rectangles, little land boats roll along like always. "We should keep going," I say. "𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 will be frightened." 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 agrees before I have a chance to say. Deneb too. My brother acts brave, but he is only 20 seasons old. I was wrong to leave him. We have not gone far when Great Mother's call reaches us. "I am Syria of the Homeward kinship of the great salmon eaters." "I am 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦, daughter of Syria," Mother calls after her. "Me! I am me!" 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 squeaks, eager to join the game and all out of turn. I leap for joy. "My family!" Others call out their names. Mothers and sisters first, and then brothers and sons. Except for 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦, who chirps, "Me! Me!" non-stop, I hear my mother's sister, Aunt Nova, and Great Mother's 2 older sisters. Their daughters and sons call out. I check their names against my memory. Are they all here? A few moments later, and much farther away, I hear the other voice of my kinship, still traveling in from the ocean. "I am Ganymead, daughter of 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦, great daughter of the Isle of the Homeward kinship of great salmon eaters. I am Phoebe, daughter of Titania. I am Mimeus, son of Phoebe, great son of Titania, of the Homeward kinship." They have survived another cold season and come home to us. They are not my traveling companions, but they speak my language, and we belong to each other. Though I do not see them every season, I feel stronger and braver when we are together. 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 and I reach the gathering place. 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦, hurries to his mother's side and pokes at her belly for milk. He is long past drinking his food, but still young enough to ask for comfort milk. A few quick swallows, and he is as cheerful as ever. Deneb peels away from racing with his cousins. He swims around and around me, stroking my sides with his flippers. He rubs his head against the tender places on my chin. "Sorry," I whisper to him. I nudge him to go back to his cousins, but he sticks by my side, as if to make sure I do not wander off again. Our kinship holds the long dance each year in honor of the return of Salmon. At first, we swim toward each other in long lines. Then the leaping and spinning and splashing begin. Deneb loves this part best and is keen to show all of us how much he has grown. We tell stories of our travels and wild adventures and narrow escapes. I overhear the wayfinders comparing today's sea shake to ones from generations past. I am relieved and proud to hear the old tales. We have endured hard things before. No power of the earth will stop us from gathering. In all the hubbub, Great Mother comes to 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 and places a flipper gently on hers. "Well done, you found the way." Great Mother does not scold me for going off alone. She never scolds. But I feel the sting of what she has not said. I made a mistake. I only thought of how fast I could swim. I only cared about what my mother needed and not what my baby cousin was strong enough to do. Not what was best for my whole family. Wayfinding is a privilege, but it is my birthright too, and I want to be worthy of it someday. Chapter 5. Long Dance. Vega's back! She found us! I knew she would. I turn away from the game with my cousins and swim around and around her. I'm never letting her out of my sight again. We dance our long dance, first in rows of one family swimming toward another, announcing our names as we go. But then comes the fun part, the leaping, the spinning, the racing. I show them all how big and strong I have grown. I roll to one side and the other so that my kinship can remember my fin shadow that gleams like a silver cloud along my back. I try to remember the names and fin shadows and tail shapes of the kin I don't usually travel with. As the greetings go on past sunset, it's easy to see that Mother and the baby in her belly are the most important ones. There has not been a mother all round-bellied like her in many seasons. It is great luck for the whole kinship when a baby is born. And Mother's is going to be a girl. Even more luck. "A girl at last," Aunt Nova says. "May she be the mother of many someday," Uncle Antares says. Some of my kin have carried a mouthful of their last meal to share with her. Everyone showers her with loving strokes and soothing click streams. Later, the gathering settles down. Some of us hunt. Others make a sleep line and doze. I see Vega and 𝘊𝘪𝘬𝘦 leaving the sleep line to speak with Great Mother. I sneak up on them. I move ever so slowly, past the rest of my family. When I am close enough to hear, I close my eye and pretend to sleep. "One time, many hundreds of seasons ago," Great Mother says, "when my great mother's great mother was a sleek matriarch in the making like you—" A story! I love stories. I rise for breath along with all the other sleepers so they won't know I'm listening. Great Mother goes on. "A tremor came. It was strong like this one, but unlike this one, it did not stop shaking until it remade the shape of the sea and pulled trees and humans and animals from the shore and set them adrift. Dark days followed for all creatures, whether they swam or walked or flew." My heart is pounding so loud I'm sure it will wake everybody. One click stream in my direction, and they will see I'm not asleep. I squeeze my eyes shut. Tell me, Vega and 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘮𝘦 say together, and Great Mother does tell. Stories too horrifying and fantastical to be true. I gulp down every word. Could it happen again? I wonder. And then, almost as if Great Mother can hear my thoughts, she nuzzles Vega and sighs. What has happened once is likely to happen again. What should we do? 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘮 asks. I move closer so I don't miss a word. When the earth shakes, the open ocean is a refuge, but Mother's baby will come any day now, Vega says, and the salmon we need to eat are coming here. And the currents of the ocean are hard on a newborn, Great Mother adds. Always remember, together is better than apart. Yes, I shouted in my own head, even though it's what I want to bellow in Vega's ear. Together is always better. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 is not wise like the wayfinders, but he says the same. So we stay, Vega says, even though the sea may shake again? We stay today, Great Mother says. We listen, we learn, and tomorrow we listen again, learn again, decide again. Stay together, I say to myself. Listen together, learn together. I was wrong to doubt my sister. I stop pretending to sleep and move into Vega's swim shadow. I will always follow you, I say. Chapter 6, Birth. Mother makes a groan in her sleep and wakes up. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 is beside her, as always. He nudges her skyward to encourage her to breathe. Thank you, Mother murmurs. It is time, Great Mother announces. She turns to her brother. Regal, watch over us. As if by magic, every wayfinder and great hunter of our kinship wakes and swims to Mother's side. I'll help, I say. Mother, Vega says, will it be all right? Is it too soon? The others shush her and nudge her into Mother's circle of companions. Come with us, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 says to me. He and 𝘊𝘪𝘮𝘮𝘦 swim on either side of me and turn me away from the circle of care. But she needs me. I push against the uncles. How can I leave Mother and Vega too? I promised I never would. But my uncles are bigger than me and just as determined. They guide me away from the action. We will help, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 says. We will guard, 𝘊𝘪𝘮𝘮𝘦 adds. I don't want to guard. I want to be in the circle of companions. But I can't overpower my uncles. They are huge compared to me. Still, I bet I can outsmart them. I point my clickstream at the first rocky crevice I see. Oh, look, an octopus! Once, when I was quite small, an octopus dared to lay tentacles on me. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 scooped the fellow up by his head and lifted him out of the water in a single leap. He threw the octopus, splat, against the side of a passing watcher boat. Surely the prospect of a lurking octopus will distract my uncles now. I squirm out from between them and head back to the mothers and Vega. I'm here, I announce to the circle of them. I'll help, I add, when my greetings get no response. Mother is in the middle. The others are sending comforting pulses of clickstream over her body, from nose to tail. Here she comes, Great Mother says in her most soothing voice. Almost there, Aunt Nova croons. A stream of yellow squirts out of Mother's tail end. Does it hurt? Vega says. Is it awful? Don't be troubled, my bright star, Mother says. I am strong. I'm here, I call out. I'll help. Hey, 𝘊𝘪𝘮𝘮𝘦 says, poking me in the belly with his fin. Come help me chase away sharks. I can't leave her. Courage, my sister, Aunt Nova whispers. You are strong, says Great Mother, are you? Strong strong, strong! Vega and 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮𝘦 sing together. A black and sunrise pink tail emerges, all curled up amid a cloud of pale yellow water and dark red blood. Blood brings sharks, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 says, nudging me away from the berth. Guard the mothers, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 adds. It's true. A few blue sharks are streaming toward us. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 is already in the fray, whacking their pointy noses with his broad and sturdy tail. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘮 bites into one and gives it a firm shake before letting go. Good game. I go after a shark, nipping its tail until it decides to move along. I patrol for more intruders, but always circle back to check on Mother. The last time she had a baby, the baby's tail stayed curled up like a snail in a shell. That baby never had a beating heart. I'm almost afraid to look, but when I do, I see Great Mother gently stroking a tiny and perfectly shaped tail. Yes! I leap and spin in the air, and then roll in the happy fizz of bubbles. A stray octopus catches my eye, a huge one walking across the bottom of the sea. Danger! I swoop down and take the creature by the head. It immediately wraps 3 tentacles around me. I spiral in one direction and then spin back the other way to break its grasp. I give it a firm whack with my tail. It inks me and slithers away. I watch it go with satisfaction and then wave my flippers at the cloud of ink so that it will not drift over and annoy the mothers. I circle back to them. The wayfinders have moved skyward. They breathe as one. Great Mother and Aunt Nova hold the new baby delicately between them, raising my tiny black and golden pink sister to the skin of the sea. Yes, she is born! I leap for joy. She's here! I shout. I spin around the circle of mothers, spiraling with excitement. No one answers me, not even Vega. I stop spiraling. I swim around them, slowly this time. Mother gives a small groan. A thing floats out of her body, as white as a bone and as bendable as a stalk of seagrass. It is baby-sized and empty. It floats for a moment and then sinks into the depths. Mother? I move closer. No one looks at me. I look at my new sister, 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮, the one we have all been waiting for, the one who will bring us luck. Aunt Nova lifts her to breathe. Great Mother presses gently against her little stomach. A yellowish stream leaks out of her mouth. 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮's eyes are closed. Her breather on top of her head opens and shuts, but air doesn't go in. Mother? I say again. A silence falls over the group. Mother faces her baby and clickstreams her ever so tenderly. Is there a heartbeat? I can't tell. I want to reach out to 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮 with my own clickstream and see for myself if her breathing parts are filling and emptying as they should, but I don't dare. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝑝 swims up beside me and faces his sister and all her daughters and great-daughters. I am here, he says. I am beside you. I long to slip into 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝑝's swim shadow and lean on his strength, as I have so often before. But I'm not my mother's baby. Not anymore. I swim up to Vega and nuzzle her as gently as I can. I'm here, I whisper. Great Mother continues to press 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮's belly as Aunt Nova lifts her to the air. Mother showers 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑝 with her most gentle clicks, searching for a way to make her breathe. I can't say how long we wait and watch and hope for 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑝 to live. I barely notice the thin curve of the moon rising or the stars swimming across the night sky. Rain is falling when Great Mother brings 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑝 to Mother. She groans and keens in sadness. All the mothers of my kinship add their voices to the lament. It's nothing like any other song they sing, high-pitched and fierce and full of longing. Their voices bite into my heart and leave me gasping. I want something to fight, something to fix, something to sink my teeth into. But there is only sorrow, as cold and mysterious as the depths of the ocean. Chapter 7, 𝘍𝘪𝘬𝘦. The sun rises, and I barely notice. Capella is gone like many other babies before her. We are the strongest creatures in all the sea, but this one thing, birth, that comes so easily to others, comes hard for us. All around me, the mothers of my kinship wail their song of sorrow. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦, faithful as always, swims just beneath mother, lifting her as he rises for air. No sad whistles from him, only this, I am here, I am beside you, steady as the tide. I cannot make a sound. My feelings are stuck like ice inside me. Capella was going to be my sister, my forever companion. She was the one I would travel with all my life. Aquila will go back to Aunt Nova and travel with her someday. Capella was the one I was going to share everything with. The wayfinding and the hunt, the lean times and the feast, the endless things I have to learn and the lonely decisions I will have to make, and the quiet beauty of the smallest everyday things. How will I do it all, or any of it, without her? Great Mother makes a long and careful explanation. Not your fault. The sea has changed. Poisons flow into the water. I am too sad for words to reach me. I drift, feeling nothing. When the last star has faded away, Great Mother says, "It is over. We must let her go." Then, like the sudden jolt of the earth, my anger breaks free. I cannot, I will not let my sister sink. Not here, not alone in a dark, cold passage, where boats of all kinds will go roaring over her body. Never! I do what, before this moment, I could not have imagined. I spin away from the circle of grief and swim directly at my mother. I close my eyes, grit my teeth, and crash headlong into her, breaking Capella away from her place on mother's back. I swoop over my mother and under my sister, lifting her lifeless body onto my own back. I carry her away. I close my heart to the cries of my family. Aunt Nova's outrage. "You have no right!" Achilles pleading. "I will be your sister to you. I promise. I promise." Deneb calling her name. Mother's wordless wail of grief. And under them all, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦's steady voice. "I am here. I am beside you." I turn away, gather my cold resolve, and spend my strength on speed. I race along the edge of the island in a blind rage. I power past one bay and inlet after another. I dodge spires of rocks. The smooth amber trunks of kelp whoosh along my sides as I go. Seals swerve out of my path. The island narrows to a point. I pause and draw in a shuddering breath. There is a solid rocky bank beneath me. It is not dark and cold. Light could reach Capella here, and the music of the rain and wind. I could let her go. I should, but I will not. Her body is still warm against my skin. She is soft and tender, and the sea is full of teeth. I keep swimming. Capella rides my back, curved around my top fin and held in place by the press of water. Capella's body is smooth and sleek, perfect in every way except for breath. As I carry her, depths yawn open beneath us. I dodge around seamounts with no thought of eating or even of finding my way home. The sun is at the top of the sky when I find myself face to face with the most dangerous passage in the Salish Sea, Deception Pass. We have called it ever since the last capture and the stealing of Mother's youngest sister, 𝘓𝘪𝘬𝘦, and many of her cousins. I did not mean to come here, did not plan to arrive at the precise moment when push gives way to pull, and the waters pause as a living creature does between one breath and the next. It is the perfect time to risk this swiftest of all passages. Deception Pass is not long, but it flows between towering walls of rock. A thin spire of an island stands between the walls. A bridge spans from cliff to spire to opposite cliff far, far above. Other sharp spires stand under the water. Only the hardiest creatures can live where the current is so strong. But now the waters lie still before me. I feel calm, and a flash of certainty comes over me. It is right that I am here with my sister. Right that I tell 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 the story of our mother's courage and the mighty deeds of Uncle Regal and his brothers. Most of all, it feels right that she should rest in honor alongside the heroes of our kinship. I take a deep breath and move carefully through the neck of the passage. A great battle was fought here, I tell my sister, back in the rough days when our mother was a bitty thing nearly as small as you, back when humans in net boats fired their metal teeth into our sides, back when younglings were stolen from the sea and carried away. I swim into the calm of the bay beyond Deception Pass, telling the story as it were once told to me. A generation ago, when Great-Mother and Uncle Regal were young and Mother was a tiny thing like you, the capture boats hunted them. 3 boats followed our family that day, and a giant thundering creature flew above them. They chased them up one passage and down another. Finally, Great-Mother made a desperate plan. She brought her family here to this passage, which we called the Narrow at the time. She knew it was the young the humans wanted, so she split her family up at the opening of the Narrow. Great-Mother led the larger group. Her brothers took a smaller group and all of the babies and younglings with them. They dove deep and turned into the Narrow. They held their breath to the point of bursting, swam past the stone spires and into the bay. They turned warmward, where the humans would not see them. It worked. All 3 boats followed Great-Mother coldward. Uncle Regal and his brothers gathered the little ones together and held them close, keeping silence. But then the flying creature found them, and the chaser boats followed it. Smaller boats, but fast in carrying nets. The babies were already weary when the net dropped. Uncle Regal and his brothers fought with all their strength. The humans in the boats fought back with metal claws and ropes. The battle raged until sundown, and the waters of the cove ran red with our blood. Uncle Regal broke a hole in the net, and with the help of his brothers, he took Aunt Nova to freedom. He went back for Mother. He was slashed with a boat hook, but he did not give up. He guided Mother to safety while the humans wrestled 𝘓𝘪𝘬𝘦 and her cousins into slings and lifted them out of the water. They were never heard nor seen again, in all the length of the Salish Sea, or even the ocean beyond. Uncle Regal's brothers died that day, and their bodies rest on the sandy bottom of the place we call Blood Cove. Mother and Aunt Nova were the only babies to survive. I pause, close my eyes, let go a heavy cha of breath. It has been many seasons since I came here with Great-Mother, but I remember the shape of this shore. My destination lies ahead. I go slower now, and 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 feels heavier. The weight of all the time we will never have drags me down. A sister is a life bond. We could have spent 400 seasons together. I will feel this pain with the turn of every season, but today I will be brave for her. I'm taking you there, little Capella, I say, to Blood Cove. I will lay you beside the bones of the uncles who saved your mother. You will not be alone. I travel slowly, carefully. I rock Capella gently and sing to her. It is not wrong, cannot be wrong, to take my sister to this place and tell her this story. It is her birthright, and she had lived. Her heart was beating, if only for a moment. Chapter 8. Blood Cove. When Great Mother first told me of the Blood Cove captures, I did not sleep for days. I hunted up and down the islands for humans in the little dragonfly boats, secretly hoping to overturn one and steal their young. Mother and Great Mother kept to my side in those angry days. They did not scold me. They showed me their own anger. Together we thrashed our bodies against the skin of the sea. We tore apart giant kelps and shouted the names of our stolen family. I imagined how it would feel to break a dragonfly boat apart. I planned how I would seize the littlest human in my teeth and hold it, breathe her down, in the water. I thought about how I would shake that human and beat it against the rocks until the middle bone broke and it could never move again. I chose the cave where I would take it and leave it to be devoured by all those eyeless, toothy things that lurk on the bottom of the sea. I dreamed of a day when the cave would be full of bones. We went to the shore where humans came to watch us travel, where they sit on hillsides and perch on the rocks in reach of the water. Do they know that I could take them? I said. Difficult to say what a human knows, Mother answered. They know how to hunt us, I said. I did not care how long ago the captures were. It felt like they had just happened. I swam up and down in front of the watchers as they waved and shouted at me. I could have taken one, easy. Great Mother swam right beside me. Her flipper brushed my skin. Her steady breathing reminded me to breathe. They are small, Great Mother said. True. Humans have hardly a scrap of muscle or fat on them. No wonder they cannot swim or fly. A group of humans standing together caught my eye. 2 were small and 3 were tiny. I swam right up to them. A bigger human held the tiny ones by their grabbers. The smallest one of all was lifted into the spindly flippers of the largest one, almost as if they were taking care of it. They chirped softly to each other. They do not have families, I said to Great Mother. How could they when they are so cruel? One of the tiny humans pointed a grabber at me. It cooed like a bird. The other flapped and squeaked. The bigger human held them tight. I looked right at them, and they looked right at me. The wayfinders do not agree about whether humans make families, Great Mother said. What do you think? I went out to deeper water and thought for a long time. When I came back to the rocks, some of the humans had gone, but the group by the water was still there, the same 5. They still chattered to each other. They were feeding. The bigger human gave something tan and flat to the tiny one. It broke the flat thing in 2 pieces and gave a piece to the other tiny human. They put the thing in their mouths, even though it was not wet or shiny or fat or wiggling. Clearly, these humans knew nothing about good things to eat. No wonder they were so small. But they shared. Even though they only had a little food, they shared just like us. I swam away that evening, still angry, still sad, but not so hungry for revenge. Capella has become stiff and cold in her ride across the Salish Sea. She is not heavy. I could carry her for the rest of my life, but the cold of her skin, her silence, it would break me. We entered Blood Cove. The bones of the heroes lie below us. I should let 𝘃𝑃𝑒𝑙𝑎 go. This is what I have come to do, and yet my heart does not ache any less. Along the water's edge I spy a human walking side by side with a smaller human. They hold grabbers as they walk. The pull grows stronger. Clams retreat into the sand and muck. Barnacles draw their feathery tongues back into their shells, and anemones close up the flower of their tentacles. A strip of rocks and sand is laid bare by the retreating water, and the little human kneels down to pick up shells and scoop sand. The bigger human sees me, but unlike most humans, she does not wave or shout. She does not point me out to the little human, who must be her own youngling. She walks slowly, her hair blowing like kelp fronds about her. She cradles her long and spindly flippers around a great bulge in her middle. Humans come in many sizes, and in all the colors from palest sand to deepest night. But I have never seen, up close, a human with this middle bulge before. I linger at the surface and watch. The human hums. I have always assumed that humans were egg-laying creatures, like the birds who go ashore to have their babies. But this human clearly has an inward egg. She stops, looks at me and my sister. She places a flipper over her throat. She walks slowly into the water, stopping only when the water reaches her middle bulge. Humans do not travel in the sea without a boat. They have not nearly enough fat and cannot bear the cold. But this human is bearing the cold. Only a few body lengths of water lie between us. Water and sorrow. I know the sea is changing. I can taste the poisons. I know they are hard for a baby to bear. But are the poisons bad for all babies? Do they harm even human babies? Maybe not. The poisons leak out of human things and run off human places, and there are many more humans than orcas. Still, I wonder. What touches the water touches us all, Mother always says when something perplexing happens. Watch the water. Always. Do not look away from what you do not understand. Sometimes it will happen in a heartbeat, and sometimes in 100 seasons. But whatever touches the water will touch us all. Uncle Regal is not so chatty and not so wise. He only says, I am beside you. I will help. To my surprise, it is Uncle Regal's words that set my course now. Perhaps there is nothing more to swim beside those you love and help them with all your strength. I should go to my family and bear my fears as best I can. At least I will not be alone. So in the end, I say nothing, and perhaps the human understands nothing. We spend a few heartbeats of our long lives looking at each other across the water, and then we turn away, not quite the same creatures we had been before. I go to the bones of the heroes and place my sister gently among them, their tall ribs forming a guard to stand around her for all time. Chapter 9. Follow. I watch my sister swim away with 𝘃𝑃𝑒𝑙𝑎's body. I should stop her. I should bring 𝘃𝑃𝑒LA back. I'm their only brother, but I'm my mother's only son. I should stay with her and stand watch. Thinking of all the things I should do squeezes the air right out of me. I lift my head into the dreary fog of morning, gasping. My uncles swim beneath Mother and Great-Mother, nudging them skyward to breathe. Uncle Regal, the oldest of them all, swims apart from the rest, nose pointing in the direction Vega has gone. He sends out his most powerful clickstream. He calls her name. He looks above the water and then drops below to call again. He listens. I watch him and do the same. No answering call comes back. How could she do this? Run off again? How could she do it now? I take my place beside Uncle Regal. We see fish large and little, squids and crabs, net boats and wind boats, and soaring eagles, but not Vega. Where did she go? I whisper. Wormward, along this shore, 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘦 says. Jump, see if you can spot her from the air. I've never felt less like jumping. Still, when it's loud, sometimes you can see things above the water that are hidden by all the noise below. I circle downward and then point to the sky. I pump my flukes with all my strength and burst into the air, high enough to clear the water. I search for the black swoop of Vega's fin. I jump again. Nothing. Vega is always the one keeping me from wandering off after some interesting fish or curious boat. It feels wrong for her to be gone, like having a flipper stripped away. I turn to my uncle. I should go and get her. I should bring her back. She must come home, 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘦 says. We need her now more than ever. But hear me well, Deneb. Wayfinders will never follow their brothers. They will go where their hearts and their memories tell them to go. My flukes droop at the corners. What if she doesn't want to come home? Maybe she wants Capella more than me. 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 thrums thoughtfully. Even so, you must try. A wayfinder needs a brother at her side. 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 stretches his broad flipper toward mine. You must help her to see the way clearly, he says. Your trust will make her strong. Your steadfastness will help her choose the right path. What if I can't even find her? I am bigger than I was last season, and much bigger than the season before. But the sea is as huge as the sky. You have followed your sister all your life. You know her. It is your heart that will find her in the end, though all your thoughts and all your strength will be needed too. I can still hear the circle of mothers singing their haunting song of goodbye. Vega will lead you back to us, 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 says firmly. Trust her. She is wiser than she knows. I take a breath and another. Does he really want me to leave? To swim away? I have only ever followed. Finding is not leaving, 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 says. Finding her is a kind of following. Go as far as the end of this island and no more. If Vega is not there, my voice will guide you back. I look toward the mothers all tangled together in sorrow. I nuzzle 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 once. I let out the boldest cha of breath that I can make, and then swim away. I fight the morning push. It's harder with no one to swim alongside and shelter me. I swing my head from side to side, click-streaming the steep sides of the island. Spindly seaweeds and strange-looking creatures live at the bottom of these underwater cliffs. Vega is not here. I remember the shallow plain by the blinking light, where there are no trees on the shore. It's always bright there. I head that way, swimming faster now. Suddenly certain, as 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 said I would be, that Vega is looking for a place to leave Capella's body. Not a dark place. No, she will leave her in the sunlight. The fog lifts, and the sun is well above the mountains when I reach the warmward tip of the island. Vega! I shout. Vega? I send out clicks as loud as I can to search for the shape of her. Seals are everywhere I look. They nose along the rocky bottom and snap up the spiky little fish they like to eat. They swirl away from me as I swim by. Ordinarily, I would play tag with them, but I can't abandon my quest. I circle back and search again. Vega is nowhere to be found. I was sure she'd be here. I can barely hear 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮 now. If I go on without his voice to guide me, I might never find the way home. The dread of being alone presses in on me like deep water. I gather my courage. Vega needs me. Ahead is another passage, and then another island, and more after that. I will search them all. The sun is at the top of the sky, and I've looked into every inlet. I've found more things than I can even name. Slugs of every color and shape. The sea star with the skinny points. The swimming bird with the black beak and red triangles. The wading bird with the red beak and the black triangles. But no Vega. Not a hint of her. No matter how many times I call, she doesn't answer. I rest for a moment at the broad passage that leads to the territory of the cold-word kinship of salmon-eaters. They aren't enemies, not exactly, but the cold-word ways are strange, and nobody understands them when they speak. Would Vega go that way? Would she leave her home waters? Wormward would take her to more familiar places, but there's more boat noise in the Wormward end of the sea. I wait for my heart to tell me where she is, as 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 promised it would. One thing is certain, she would never go straight ahead through Deception Pass. Not ever. Dark stories are told of that path. Mother has never said exactly what happened there, but I've overheard stories of the capture seasons and the stolen younglings. Sometimes when Mother sleeps, her whole body shivers and she groans. Great Mother always nudges her awake, saying, "It is over now. It is done." Mother goes to 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 when she has the nightmares and rubs her chin gently over the long scar that runs from his flipper up across his back to the base of his fin. He is the bravest of us all. "Thank you," she whispers to him. "Thank you." Sometimes, when she and Great Mother think everyone is asleep, they circle down to the depths where their voices will carry a long way and call for Andromeda and all the stolen younglings. Sometimes, when no one is listening, I call their names too, so that their memory will not be lost forever. Vega would never go to such a sad place. She'd look for a peaceful place, a place with good memories. I imagine Vega swimming ahead of me. I think of her going to some place safe and beautiful. Coldward, I decide. There is an island nearby with all trees and no humans. Tree Island is where she first taught me to catch salmon when I was no bigger than Altair. The memory of it makes me happy. 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 is right. My heart will show me the way. I swim through the broad passage, on the right path at last. Chapter 10. Rescue. I head for Tree Island, calling Vega's name as I go. I'm sure I'll find her where she first taught me to hunt, my favorite place. Net boats are out, but I dodge them. I duck into a bay to let a thing carrier roar by. In the quiet, after the thing carrier passes, I hear the high-pitched squeaks of porpoises hunting squid. This passage is not as deep as the one where my kinship gathers. I can easily swim to the bottom. I can tell I have come to the right island by the many pillars of rock around its edge. I call Vega's name. I circle the island. Vega's not here. I was so sure she would be. I think over my plan again. I look above the water and then below. The trunks of the kelp forest shift in the pull, and I spy an orca shape hiding. "Vega!" I trill out the sharpest whistle I can make. "Vega!" She doesn't answer. I move closer still. "Vega?" She looks too big, but it's hard to tell because of the waving trunks of kelp. I rise to the surface for a better look. Vega rises too, and in a flash I see my mistake. A tall fin breaks the skin of the sea, and a great huff of breath makes an upward cloud that could only come from a male orca as big as 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮. His fin shape is wrong, and the gray fin shadow on his back is not one I've seen before. This orca is from the seal-eating kinship, a stranger to me. I back away, looking for the stranger's family so that I can keep a respectful distance. I blast out my clickstream in all directions, but no other orca is near. And this big orca is behaving very oddly. Something is caught on his flukes. A line. The end of the line disappears in the rocks. It's only long enough to let him breathe. He can't follow his mother or his sisters. He's all alone. "Hello?" I call out, trying to sound bigger than I am. "I am Deneb, son of 𝘚𝘪𝘵 of the warm-word salmon eaters." The big male says nothing at all. I make a sprint around Tree Island again. Still no Vega. I come face to face with the big male. My heart races. Not because I'm afraid. I'm never afraid. But being stuck, being held still while the whole sea moves around you, that seems like the worst thing that could happen to anyone. I should keep looking for Vega, but I don't want to leave him trapped. "Hello," I say again. The big orca makes an odd-sounding grunt that could mean anything at all. I clickstream carefully down the line. It connects to a cage on the bottom with a few crabs in it. The cage is wedged into the rocks. The other end of the line is wrapped around the stranger's flukes. He has already rubbed his skin raw. I don't know if I can free him. I only know that I have to try. "Hold still," I say. Crab cages appear in the sea sometimes. Great Mother remembers where the cages live and keeps us well clear of them. I swim under and all around the big male, looking at the line from every angle. I bet he got trapped because he doesn't have a mother or even a sister with him to remember where the dangers are. "Are you alone?" I ask. The stranger answers with two grunts and a mysterious crackling noise. The sea-eating kinship are not the chatty types. The stranger rises to the surface and draws in a weary breath. "Have you seen another orca all alone today, carrying a tiny baby?" The stranger only groans and tugs at the line. "I didn't think so," I mumble. Great Mother has told me to keep clear of the seal eaters, but I don't care. I can't just swim away. I don't know what will happen if I set him free. Will he hurt me? Sometimes the seal eaters eat the babies of scooper and gulper whales. I am only a little bit bigger than a baby whale. No, I tell myself firmly, orcas don't eat other orcas. There are rules. Still, I keep clear of the biting end. "I'm here to help you," I say. "If I can lift the trap up, maybe I can work the line free." Two crabs inside the trap wave their claws at each other and snatch bites from a chunk of fish. I'm not putting my mouth or my tongue anywhere near those pinchers. Still, I can't see another way. Maybe a stick will help. I like sticks. Things change when you poke them. Enemies close up. Clams dig deeper into the sand. Octopuses ink. "Be right back," I say. I am halfway around the island when I hear the high-pitched buzz of a little boat. I peek above the water and see an orange watcher boat with two humans speeding straight toward the big orca. The orange boat does not stop 3 leaps away and just watch, like other watcher boats do. They must be up to something. I've heard some things about the captures. Uncle Regal boldly rescued Mother and Aunt Nova. He alone of his brothers survived. The dashing scar he wears on his back is our reminder of that day. He never speaks of the rescues, but I imagine what happened all the time. The battle, the danger, and the glory at the end. I could be a rescuer. I have fought my way bravely through great patches of sinister eelgrass and rescued drift logs from the clutches of a rocky cove. I have once, twice now, tangled with a great octopus and lived to tell the tale. And here is my chance. A capture, right in front of me. I lurk underneath the boat and plot the grand rescue. "Harm not the humans," Great Mother has told me more than once, no matter what they do, never touch them. I don't know how I'm going to save the stranger orca without touching the humans. It's a heroic puzzle. I see the shadow of a long and narrow flipper reaching toward the tangled orca. He edges away, but the line holds him fast. A great splash, I decide. Everyone knows that humans hate water. They shriek like gulls whenever they are splashed. Even when you see them jump into the water on purpose, they yelp and thrash about in a frenzy like a hermit crab, all out of its shell. Yes, a mighty splash. Nothing else will do. I circle out to deeper water, turn, and then head for the orange boat at top speed. I aim my jump to come just before the boat. I arch my back, give one last push, and burst out of the water. I crash down and a great whoosh of water goes over the boat. I pop up again to watch the humans surrender. They don't retreat. The human reaches toward the stranger again, a sharp claw in its grabbers. Capturers for sure. And after all these years, "I'll save you," I call. I gulp in water, lift my head in the air, and balance my flippers flat on the surface. The human is holding the line in one flipper and is sawing away at it with the claw. I take aim and spit a stream of water right in the human's face. It shouts, shakes water from its head and flippers, and goes straight back to menacing the stranger. The monster! "Don't panic," I call to the stranger, who is clearly frozen with fear, and letting the human touch him without punishment. "I won't give up. I promise." If only I had a good stick, or a big octopus to throw. Even a medium-sized octopus would do the trick. I swim beneath the orange boat again. I can hear the sound of the claw at work above. It's now or never. I aim for the edge of the orange boat and swim straight up. The boat is soft, like a jelly. I tilt it up into the air. Both humans squawk like ravens. Objects clatter and fall into the water. The human with the claw follows. Unlike other humans, no thrashing. It holds on to the line and gives a great jab with its claw. My heart is pounding. "Stop!" I shout. "He isn't hurting you! None of us ever hurt you!" I squirt a furious blast of bubbles underneath the human. And then, just like that, the human listens. The line uncoils from the stranger's flipper and falls away, leaving a ring of raw skin behind. The human takes its claw and climbs back into the boat. The humans turn around, fire up the growler, and before I can chase them, they speed away. It's incredible. "I did it! I saved you!" I swim in circles, slapping my tail on the skin of the sea and letting the boom of it echo through the water. "I did it! I did it!" The stranger swirls through the water, leaping in the air with relief and gratitude. He circles back to me, makes a single long whistle, and then swims off. The seal-eating families are a peculiar bunch. Everyone says so. Still, I'm sad to see him go. It's lonely to travel all by myself, to come to a crossing of currents and not have a mother or sister to choose the way. The sea is bigger and more wild than I ever imagined. I'm afraid if I keep going coldward, away from Mother and Great Mother, I'll never find them again. Vega wouldn't go this far, would she? No, I have missed her somehow. I'll turn back and keep searching. Chapter 11. Longboats. Though I have let my sister go, my body is heavy as I swim out of Blood Cove. Leaving Capella behind is like ripping out a hook. I will never be the same. I want my mother. Want her like I did when I was a tiny youngling. I head back to Deception Pass. It is easier to swim without Capella, but it feels wrong to swim alone. Not frightening, not exactly. The only creatures in the sea bigger than me do not have teeth. Still, it is unnerving to breathe without my family rising beside me. A few swift boats zip by, the kind that have lines with a hook on the end to kill fish. I swerve to stay clear of them. I zigzag. I dive. It is exhausting. I wish it was night and the boats would all go away. But then I hear another sound, a gentler sound. I stop and call on my memories. Could it be true? Are the longboat riders in the water today? I listen again for the splash and the swirling, so much like the sound a swimming bird makes. Each longboat has a beak on the front like a raven. I pop up for a look, and there they are, the longboat riders, many of them. They travel in a line like geese in the sky. They gather every salmon season, just like my own kinship. The old stories tell of a time when all the boats in the Salish Sea were as quiet as these. In those days, boats did not bleed poison. No one tried to capture orcas, and the salmon ran so thick and strong that not a single orca of any kinship ever knew hunger. There were so many fish that rivers shone silver in the summer sun. Great Mother has stories from when she was a youngling. The longboat riders were the defenders of clams, she said. They built shelters for them along the shore and traps for salmon. We had a settled way between us. They hunted the salmon in the rivers and coves, and we hunted them in the sea. Why couldn't I have been born then, when the sea was quieter and all its water tasted clean? When I would have had many sisters. I swim near the longboats. 2 of them are about as big as me, and 1 is bigger. Many humans ride them, dipping their narrow wings into the water together as though they are one creature. Great Mother always greets them as kin, so I call out my name. I am Vega, daughter of 𝘊𝘪𝘵𝘩, great daughter of Syria of the warm-word kinship of salmon eaters. They call back to me, not shouting or clicking lights, only gentle sounds and an outstretched wing. I travel alongside them, like they are family, until they turn and go ashore at the mouth of a river. I swim into the entrance to Deception Pass. The pull is in full force. I can hear the rush of water through the narrow channel. A tall and steep-sided island stands in the pass as its narrowest point. The force of the water tugs me forward, but I linger in the lee of the island to look ahead. Not a boat is in sight to fight the pull of the Narrows, but I hear the faint drone of land boats on the bridge far above. In the distance, I catch the shape of an orca, a big one. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘰! I click stream again. The outline of a smaller orca, following the larger one, bounces back to me. Deneb! I shout. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘰! Who else could it be? I'm here! I'm coming home! A great longing for the sight and touch and sound of my family wells up in me. I have never in my whole life been away from them for so long. I rush forward as fast as I can go. I am in the narrowest part of the pass when a great boom resounds all around me, so loud the very force of the sound pushes me upward. The bottom of the sea jolts forward and back. Boom! Pop! Crash! Stone grinds against stone. The whole sea goes dark from the noise. It presses against my body, as if I am in water so deep no light can reach me. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘰! I shout. Deneb! Crash! Boom! Bang! Rolls up from the depths. My ears throb. The island sways. The bridge above crackles. A land boat and a chunk of the bridge tumble into the water, blocking one side of the passage. I gasp in panic. drawing the biggest breath my body can hold, and plunge onward. My belly grazes the bottom of the sea. Chapter 12. Sea Shake. The first jolt hits me like thunder. Boom! Pop! Crack! Everything goes fuzzy. Crash! Wham! The bottom of the sea jerks back and forth. Huge boulders splash down from cliff tops. The stranger calls out to me in the chaos. Deep! He shouts, plain as day. Go deep! He calls again. Then he turns to the passage that leads to the ocean and swims away at top speed. I race to the stranger's side. I don't know if his swim shadow will protect me. I hope so. I fight with all my strength to keep up. The sand and stone of the seafloor is a blur of motion. We swim above the rising murk of silty water. Fish hang stunned, not moving at all, but the stranger and I charge forward. A swarm of porpoises surge past us. They pour on speed, leaping into the air to escape the pressure of sound. Deep! They chirp as they pass. Deep! Deep! I've never understood porpoises before. Like them, I leap through the air to escape the grinding noise of stone on stone. I see Deception Pass. The hills on either side of the pass are blurry with motion. Land boats fall from the bridge, and a section breaks away and plunges into the water. Vega! I shout as I splash back into the roiling sea. How will I ever find her now? Chapter 13. Deception Pass. I cannot believe what I am seeing. Another piece of the bridge tumbles into the water, and land boats follow after it. The wake from the splash rolls me end over end. I struggle to right myself. I think I hear someone calling my name in all the jumble of noise. Deneb! I scream. It must be my brother. Who else is foolish enough to follow me? Clouds of sand rise from the groaning seafloor. Ahead, I see a family of porpoises, leaping one after another and heading toward the ocean. Go deep, Great Mother had said. When the sea shakes, the open ocean is a refuge. Deneb! I scream again. I cannot leave him behind. How will he know which way to go? I leap as high as I can and look across the water. Where is he? Did I imagine his voice? No, Deneb will be with 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘦𝘯𝘵, and he will be with Mother and Great Mother, and they will be leading the whole family to the safety of the open ocean. All I have to do is catch up. The sea churns with the power of 100 winter storms. I turn toward the ocean and swim with all my strength. Noise blind, but navigating by memory. I will find my family. Chapter 14. Waves. The shaking stops just as I clear Deception Pass. The press of sound falls away. I stop too. Take a breath, and another breath. The silence that follows the shaking is almost as scary as the noise. I send a clickstream out through the churned up water to get my bearings. The ocean lies straight ahead, a full day's journey away. A scooper whale and her baby charged past me. I did not know they could go so fast. The scooper whale chants, deep, deep, an orca word clear as sunlight. They head for the ocean. Fish hang dazed in the water, not moving at all. Deneb! I call. Mother! What have I done? Gone off and left my family. Again! I was sure I could retrace my path. Sure they would wait for me. What if I never find them? Another whale swoops past. A singing whale. He calls out, deep, deep, in 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘦, just like the scooper. I follow the singing whale. Usually they are such dawdlers, lazily circling clumps of fish, lunging through them, mouths agape. But this one has closed his mouth tight and tucked his long flippers close to his body. He pumps his gigantic tail and pulls me along in his wake. Stray crab cages bounce off his sides and swirl away from him. I see dim shapes in the water. Porpoises, a scooper whale, and her baby. Or is it Deneb? Could that be Aquila and her little 𝘠𝘪𝘬𝘦? I shout their names, but all I hear back from every creature of the sea who can speak is, "Deep, deep, go deep." The pull feels stronger than before. A new sound comes from the bottom of the sea. A clatter, not like the breaking of solid rock, but like the rolling of stones. The singing whale swerves to avoid a net boat. As we swim past, the net breaks free, spilling its catch of salmon. I snatch one and gulp it down. The net boat turns to the open ocean at top noise. The sound of rolling stones grows, and the tug of the pull grows with it. I have never felt a pull so strong, not in all my life, not in the worst storms of winter. Swept up in this pull, I am going faster than I ever have before. When I surface for air, I look around, amazed to see that I am more than halfway to the ocean. The drumbeat chant, "Deep, deep," strikes me from all sides. I stop looking for my family. I know only that the call belongs to those who share something with my family, something wise, but long buried, a will to survive. But not just will. Any little crab or jelly has the same will and the knowledge to navigate by. However different the other whales might be, they are my family in this. I chant along with them, deep, deep, as we all strive to reach the open ocean. And then in the jumble of noise, I hear a familiar voice, chanting just like me. "Deneb!" I shout. I send a clickstream, narrow and strong, in the direction of the voice. An image comes back, a brother-sized orca and a big one, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦. I turn crosswise to the current and fight to reach them. The pull takes hold of me like a howling wind, the kind that turns boats upside down. I grit my teeth and swim with all my might. "Deneb!" I call. "Vega!" Deneb yells back. "I found you!" I close the distance between us and slip into 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦's swim shadow. I murmur my thanks and we keep moving. Something is coming for us. I feel it, like the memory of a nightmare. One menace chasing us out to the ocean, and another charging toward us from the very place of our safety. But how can that be true? Great Mother said, "Deep water is the refuge." She would not lie. Could she be mistaken? "𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦!" I call. "How far must we go?" He does not answer. "Regal!" I glance at him. There is a notch along the edge of his fluke that I never saw before. "Uncle?" "Don't worry," Deneb says. "He's my not cousin." "Not cousin?" "I like him." There is no word for an orca you like who is not in your kinship. I take a closer look. His fin shape is a little bit off, and he sounds funny too. He must be a seal eater. How did this happen? "Deneb, he's a stranger. Where is 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦? Where is Mother? I saved him from a tangle, and he helped me find you." "You what? Where is our family?" Did Deneb leave them too? Did he follow me? He would never. He is too little. A jolt of panic zings through me. I want my mother, like an ache in my bones, like hunger. "How deep is enough?" Deneb asks. I do not know. I only feel danger coming. I leap to look for the way. A line of boats charges toward the ocean. I can see the place ahead where the land stops and the ocean begins. Almost there. I leap again. On the horizon, a wave rises. The stranger orca must feel it coming too. He stops swimming. He turns to Deneb, fixes him with a firm gaze, and grunts something neither of us understands. He floats near the surface, breathing in and out deeply. I do the same, and Deneb copies me. The air warms me through and gives my tired muscles new strength. I check the horizon again. The wave is taller than boats, taller than trees, tall like the rocky cliffs at land's end. Panic gives way to dread. Great Mother's voice rings in my memory. A great tremor came that did not stop shaking until it remade the shape of the sea. This is a wave to remake the shape of the sea. This is a wave to crush mountains. I scream my mother's name in the face of the giant wave. I left my family, and this is my fate, to face the reshaping of the sea without them. I'm right here, Deneb squeaks. I'm beside you. I reach for him in the swirling pull of water until he is in the shelter of my flippers. The stranger ducks his head and lifts his tail for a dive. Dive! I shout. Stay with me! The wave is almost upon us. Boats climb up the face of it and tumble backward. Ready? I take a deep breath. Go! I dive. Deneb beside me and the stranger just ahead. The light fades from pale green to deepest blue. I feel the wave draw near. The bottom is flat here, with no pillars to hide behind. I fight the great wave with all my strength. My heart slows to save breath. Deneb starts to rise, despite the pumping of his little flukes. I move above him and tilt him downward, using my weight to keep him from being swept away. We reach the gravelly bottom. My heart beats slower and slower, even as the wave moves relentlessly toward our home waters. When it finally passes, we turn skyward and break through the skin of the sea with a great burst of outgoing breath. The stranger makes a loud cha when he surfaces beside us. I draw in courage with each new breath, but lose it a little as I look around. Overturned boats and things and humans bob in the water. Some float, some sink, some thrash and shout. Oh, Deneb gasps, broken. He goes to the nearest thrashing human and nudges it toward a floating thing. It climbs on, and Deneb goes after the next one. He nudges and lifts until two humans are lying on top of the floating thing. The humans have no proper fat on them. They cling to each other and shiver. We have to go, I say. I look around for the fins of my family, for someone else to take the lead and make the choices, but we are alone. The overturned boats make me nervous. A fish has gooey bits in the middle that are quite tasty, but a boat has poison at the middle. Soon it will be oozing into the sea. Still, Great Mother has rules about not hurting humans. Letting them sink is a hurt, but letting Deneb suffer poison is wrong too. Just one more, Deneb says, circling back for the last of them. This one bobs at the surface with a floater and a flashing light. We have to go now! I help him nudge the human toward rescue. The others pull it from the water. They clasp each other tight and roar like beached sea lions. More giant waves will come, I tell Deneb. Great Mother told me they travel together, just as we do. Already I am looking for the next one. We need deeper water. The stranger is already heading that way. We turn our backs to the Salish Sea and follow the stranger to land's end. We wait beside the offshore island, looking and longing for our family to find us. As the sun falls into the sea and the stars rise, so giant waves rise out of the deep. 3 of these giants pass over us. 3 times we dive. The waves try to pick us up and throw us against the side of the cliffs. We fight them. We hear the sound of the waves hurling their might against the shore. It fades as we are pulled farther and farther away. I close my heart and my memory to my home waters. It is too much. I will never go back. Chapter 15. Land's End. The ocean is still by the time the sun rises. A night of fighting the giant waves has dragged us away from Land's End to the very edge of the sheer underwater drop that marks the beginning of the open ocean. No light can reach the base of this cliff. No orca knows the creatures who dwell in the blue wilderness. All the monsters in our stories come from there. "Do not pass the great cliff and cross into the open ocean," Great Mother would warn us season after season. "No orca who goes into the wild ever comes home." "This way," I say to Deneb, turning us away from danger. He does not argue. All three of us hurry back to the sunlit plains along the coast. We sleep at last, Deneb bobbing along on one side of me and the stranger on the other. The pull gives way to push, and the sun warms the water. I have never been so weary or dozed for so long. My muscles relax. My many nicks and cuts bleed and then mend, making a whole piece of my skin. All through my dozing, I keep a flipper on Deneb so he does not stray. With every breath, I listen for my mother's voice, because Mother should be here where Great Mother said we must go. But all I can hear is the faint pop and crackle of fish and the long, steady shush of waves on the shore. I shake off sleep and search for my family with my clickstream. Great Mother said she would bring the family here, but I do not see them anywhere. My heart sinks. The Salish Sea is a tiny cove compared to the whole ocean. "How will I ever find you?" I say aloud. Deneb murmurs, bumps up against me, sighs, and goes back to sleep. I stroke his back and watch over him. Wherever my family is gone, I know one thing for certain. They will never stop looking for me. The sun climbs the sky. Everywhere I look, the coastline is a jumble. Trees lean at wrong angles or lie flat on the ground. Boats are broken on the rocks. Small fish that are usually tucked into little crevices of rock circle in the open. Bottom dwellers swim in the pale green sunlit waters, waiting for the muck and sand to settle. The big whales and porpoises that made the sprint to the ocean with us are long gone. I double back. I check for my family again, and with each empty echo that returns to me, I feel a pulse of guilt. I left them, in the saddest moment of our lives. Deneb finally wakes up. "Where's Mother?" I cannot bring myself to say, I do not know. Mother never said it, certainly not Great Mother. A wayfinder should know. "Where's Great Mother? Where's Uncle Regal?" Deneb goes through every name in our kinship. I count breaths, slowly, as I've seen Mother do many times before. "We will just have to wait, for the water to clear." Why did I say that? Our family could be anywhere. Clear water is not going to make them appear. "Okay," Deneb says cheerfully. He nudges the stranger, who opens his sleeping eye. "We're looking for our family," Deneb says. "Are you looking for yours?" The stranger grunts and lifts his head out of the water. "Where's your mother?" Deneb goes on, popping up beside him. "And your Great Mother? You won't last long without them." He says it with such confidence, my heart aches. It is all my fault. I stole Capella's body. I only thought of my own feelings. And little Deneb, only 20 seasons old, came to find me. It is my fault we are lost. The stranger swims toward the island and the dozing seals on the rocky shore. A mother seal basks in the sun beside her baby. I feel a pang of envy. Who will shelter me now? Nobody. I look at Deneb. I am only 24 seasons older, but he is mine to feed and protect now. I am all the mother he has. Deneb chats on and on to the stranger. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 said Vega and I would find each other, and we did. I bet your sister is already looking for you. You have to trust your sister. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦 says she could be just around the next island. Vega knows what to do. I count breaths again to hold back the panic. They cannot be far. I lift my head above the skin of the sea and circle slowly. There are no net boats in sight. Not one. The big thing carriers are gone. Plumes of smoke swirl up from the shore. I strive to be as serene as Mother would be. I turn coldward, shape my clickstream for maximum distance and send it out. A pulse of sound, and then another. As I wait for the echoes to come back, Deneb is still chatting at the silent stranger. Which way do you think your mother would go? He says. Are you hungry? Are there fish? Are there salmon? I begin to appreciate how often my family divided up Deneb's questions so nobody had to answer them all. Do you suppose they're still back there? Deneb asks. He looks into the passage, where a thing carrier has its nose pointing downward and its tail end in the air. We have to leave the Salish Sea, I say. The blood of boats is poison to us. But what if our family is back there? Deneb says. In all that broken everything. We have to find them. No, I say firmly, trying my best to sound like a true wayfinder. The sour taste of boat blood will come. Our eyes will sting and grow blurry. Poison is spreading in our home waters, and boats are going upside down, and whole cliff sides and trees are falling in. We have to go. I face the ocean. It spreads before us, big as the sky. Chapter 16. Seal. Vega is searching for the right way to go. She is thinking a wayfinder's thoughts. I shouldn't pester her. Luckily, I'm good at being patient. The stranger waits too. I'm sure his mother will come for him soon. I'm much too big to complain, but waiting would be better if there was food. Are you hungry? I say to the stranger. Do you ever eat fish? He doesn't answer, but swims slowly along the rocky edge of an offshore island. I think we should find something to eat. How about flatfish? Still, no answer. I keep trying. Maybe we could try eels. Do you think we should hunt an octopus? Turns out there are lots of things the stranger doesn't eat. He continues his silent search, and I follow him, always staying in Vega's sight. Most of the kelp forest has been ripped away, but the few kelp trunks left bend oceanward in the pull. Hey, look! I call to the stranger. Otters! Do you eat those? They're kind of small. I point my clickstream at a pair of otters who are floating on their backs in the drifting fronds of kelp. They both drop their clams and roll belly down. They swim toward the rocks. Their bodies ripple like eels. They turn sideways and slip through a crevice into a sheltered pool. They pop up and hiss at me. Caught them! I shout. They're right here! I'm good at the finding game. See? The stranger blows a short bubble stream. Probably he is thanking me. I turn back to my quarry, full of pride. I check the narrow crevice that leads to the rocky pool. There isn't a spot wide enough for me. Only my flipper will fit. You can just eat them when they come out, I explain. They'll be hungry soon. I settle in to watch and wait. My empty stomach roars like a sea lion. The otters dive. One picks up a rock. It has human-shaped front flippers with grabbers. It holds the rock and bangs it against some mussels, breaking a few free. The other otter breaks off barnacles. The pair of them float belly up. They crack the shells and slurp out the luscious middles. There's actually quite a lot of food in that tiny pool. I feel the shine of my game go a little dim. The stranger turns away, silent as always, and heads down the coast toward the next cluster of rocks. Vega swims to my side. "The stranger needs to hunt," she says. "He's hungry like you." "I know. I was helping." "The seal-eating kinship has their own ways," she says. "We swim along the coast, giving the stranger plenty of space. They hunt by stealth." "Stealth? What's that?" "They go quiet, using neither their voices nor their clickstreams, only their eyes." I follow Vega as she lifts her head above the water and scans the shore. I can hardly believe what she has said. How do they find things? "Well, the otters got away because they heard you," Vega says. "Seals and sea lions hear just the same." "No!" "Yes." "They have ears?" "They do." We duck underwater, travel farther, and pop up again for another look. Broken trees and an overturned net boat litter the sand. Dead fish lie in the sun. I think about the stranger and our time together. So when I talk to him and he doesn't answer, it's because stealth, Vega says gently. He is trying to hunt. "I don't think I'd be very good at stealth," I mumble. "It seems kind of lonely to me." Vega strokes me with her flipper. "I'm right here," she says. "I'll always talk to you. But we should let the stranger hunt and not frighten away his food. It's only fair. He helped us. I want to do right by the stranger. I want to be strong and fat and confident like him. I want to learn all the things he knows. But he is not going to explain things. I follow anyway to learn what I can by watching. Vega keeps going along the coastline, muttering to herself about way markers. I thought there was a river by this beach, but nothing looks like I remember. I'm so glad wayfinding is her work and not mine. The stranger is just ahead of us. We swim past rocky shorelines and sandy ones. Logs and branches, and even whole trees float by. I'm too hungry to play with them. Vega searches for salmon, but she doesn't call me to hunt with her. The day moves to dark. Pull gives way to push, and my hunger grows. I start looking for flatfish, spiky fish, tiny fish, anything. The stranger slows as we come to the next group of rocks. The push lifts seals off the rock. They swim away in clusters of 2 and 3. The stranger hangs in the water, barely breathing. He's so quiet. I hold my breath and watch him. And then, when a seal leaves the rock alone, the stranger lunges for him, mouth open like a gulper. He gets his teeth around the tail of the seal and bites deep. The seal grunts out a panicked cry, and the other seals scatter. The stranger arches out of the water and swings the seal over his head. The seal bellows in a rage as it flies through the air and smacks the water. The cries of the seal abruptly stop. The stranger swings the seal through the air one more time, and as it hits the water, I clickstream it furiously to see what has happened. The big middle bone that runs through the center of the seal is broken. The stranger lets go of the tail end and bites into the neck. Blood swirls out. I watch the seal's breathing parts fill with water, and its heart slow and shudder to a stop. I love to hunt. Nothing feels better than chasing salmon and catching them. Bringing a salmon to my sister and mother, especially to my great-mother. It's the best feeling ever. But I have never watched a creature who breathes air like me be hunted. Not close up. The stranger is incredible. I can't wait to be as strong as him, but even though a seal looks different on the outside, I can't help but see how much it looks like me on the inside. For the first time, I feel a twinge of fear as I watch the stranger. He bites and shakes the seal, lets it go and bites again. At first, it seems mean to keep biting a seal that is already dead. But then I see that the stranger is trying to break off a piece to eat. "Let me help you," I say. I take the seal's tail in my teeth and hold firm. The stranger pulls against my grip and tears off a mouthful. He makes a warm and happy hum as he gulps in his food. When he has eaten his fill, he nudges a chunk toward me. I eye it carefully. Seal isn't something I've been given by mother or great-mother, but I'm so hungry. Vega is still searching for salmon. The tips of her flukes are making that nervous twitch she gets when she's trying to stand up to 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘬𝘦. She will find food. The wayfinder always does. But I'm hungry now. I take a nibble. The furry bits are awful, but the meat is savory. The stranger turns away from me. I try to spit out all the pointy bits while he's not watching. It's harder than it looks. My throat burns when I swallow. My stomach aches. The stranger swims away, and I am too miserable to ask him to stay. I let the rest of the seal's tail drop to the ocean bottom, where crabs and eels will pick it clean. I watch the stranger swim out of sight, wondering if I will ever see him again. I circle back to Vega's side. She is deep in her wayfinder thoughts, click-streaming the shore over and over. I give her a nuzzle. "Are you all right?" she says. "Did the stranger hurt you?" "I'm fine." My belly makes a noise, a loud noise. "What did you eat?" "Nothing." I squirm as my belly makes another even louder noise. Vega turns her click stream toward me and gives me a gentle but searching look from nose to fluke. "You ate seal," she says. I move away from her. My stomach feels bad, very bad. A long and loud and blood-tinged squirt comes out of my back end. "I was helping him," I say. We both swim away from my squirt, but another, just as loud and bloody, follows. "I was hungry. I thought seal would be good to eat because the stranger ate it." "Their ways are not our ways," Vega says. "No amount of trying will make us alike." My flukes and flippers droop. Where did our salmon go? I shouldn't ask her those things. I should trust her. But I'm so hungry. I've never been hungry like this before. "Did I do something wrong?" I whisper. "Is it my fault they're gone?" Vega strokes my head. I am sick again. We move out of the bay and into clear water. I let the roll of the ocean soothe me. If all the orca ate salmon, there would not be enough for everyone, Vega begins. So some orcas eat seals to keep the balance. They are not kin, but we help each other by keeping to our own food and our own ways. My belly is finally empty. I don't even try to stop moaning. Vega explains that the salmon were scattered by the big waves. I'm not listening. After a while, she stops explaining things and swims beneath me. She clicks tenderly all along my aching belly. "I will find you food," Vega croons to me. "I promise." I won't eat seal ever again. I've never been more sorry in my life. I close an eye and fall asleep. Even in my dreams, I am hungry. Chapter 17. Lost. How could I have promised him food? What was I thinking? I have no idea where the salmon are. None! I rock from side to side. I make the soft whistle my mother crooned to me when I was a youngling. How am I going to take care of Deneb and find salmon? I stopped watching him just for a moment, and he ate wrong food. Also, I cannot believe how much I sound like 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘬𝘦. I swore I would never be like her. But the moment the burden of wayfinding is mine, bossiness comes as naturally as breathing. And worse than that, I am lost. It is bewildering. I know this coastline like I know my own skin. I scan the shore from above again. I clickstream the shape of it from below again. The island with the light at the mouth of the Salish Sea, I tell myself, and then warmward along the coast to the bay with a river at each end, where the salmon come when the trees go yellow. None of that is before me. Yet I have traveled the outer coast many times before. The beach is unnaturally wide. Long amber trunks of kelp lie tangled on the wet sand alongside fish of all sizes. Crabs scuttle around and through the flotsam, waving their claws as if to scold the water for going so far away. The trees on the far edge of the sand are stripped of their bark and branches. Snow-capped eagles circle above and then settle on the sand, walking from one feast to the next. After a whole night of searching, I find one flat fish. I take a bite and bring the rest to Deneb. "How is your belly now?" "Empty," Deneb says, still drowsy. "Take this." I pass him the flatfish. I have to give him something. A wayfinder feeds her family, and today I am all Deneb has. "Follow me. We have to keep moving." "I'm beside you," Deneb answers, sleepy but earnest. My heart aches remembering Uncle Regal, who always says the same. How could I have left him? We swim along the shore all that day and into the night. This coastline was our winter playground. We hunted salmon at the mouths of the rivers, shouted into sea caves to hear the echo, dared each other to swim through stone arches. The arches are toppled now, and the caves are filled with the skeletons of the forest. And the rivers that feed us are choked with mud. Deneb keeps to my side all through the night. As the sun rises, a song comes from the forest. It is like the song of the whales, rising and falling, louder and then softer. We stop to listen. "Who is that?" Deneb asks. Humans sometimes walk the beaches with a creature on the end of a line that sings like this, but not exactly like this. This is a wilder sound. I cannot help but think the land creature, whoever it is, wants to tell me something. The voice sings and stops, as though it is calling to family, calling and hearing no answer. I remember what Great Mother said about the last time the sea shook with such violence. Hard times followed for every creature. Deneb snuggles up to me. "It sounds lonely," he says. I do not say it aloud, but I am sure the voice is grieving for its lost world. I want to howl too. I want to cry for everything I have lost. But that would frighten Deneb, and he is trying so hard to be brave. I am trying too. There is no food here on the winter hunting grounds, but I cannot give up. I will not. I have to try the one place Great Mother told me never to go. There is nowhere else to turn. "Follow me," I command. Chapter 18. Blue Wilderness. I turn away from the rising sun, and Deneb follows me. The bottom of the ocean slopes downward. Channels wind across it like the branches of a huge tree. The slope goes to a cliff and then plunges down, past where light can reach. The cold of the deep flows upward. I shiver. This is the boundary Great Mother warned me never to cross. The pull is with us. Deneb and I speed over the edge, trying not to think about the fearsome stories we both remember. I clickstream furiously ahead, looking for, I know not what, monsters. Or worse, the desolate blue wilderness far from the sound of waves breaking on the shore. I swim steadily all through the day and into the night, and Deneb sticks to my side like a shadow. I pause to rest as the sun rises. I float tail down and flippers flat on the top of the water, so that I rise and fall with the long swells that are the heartbeat of the ocean. I turn in every direction. No land is in sight. Nothing but the endless gray blue of the sea. The pale blue of the sky and its cloud islands stretch just as vast and lonely above me. Deneb bobs on the swells beside me. He gapes at the endless horizon. Ordinarily, he would be pelting me with questions, but now he only spins in slow circles, looking and looking and looking at nothing. He sighs and rubs his head against my chin without saying anything at all. I cannot think what to say either. Everything I worried about in my home waters seems small compared to the open ocean. Deneb slips beneath the swells. He holds still, a stillness as strange as our surroundings. "Difficult to find your way in the wild," Great Mother warned me when I was a youngling with a taste for monster stories. "The blue wilderness is no place for us," Mother said when I dared 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘮𝘦 to swim over the edge all those seasons ago. Beneath the water, it is not quite so barren as the surface. A faraway growl from a boat on one side of us, the high-pitched chatter of a dolphin family on the other side. But there is no scuttle and crunch from crabs and sea stars and urchins. I shape a long-distance click and aim it down into the dark. 10 heartbeats pass before the echo of the sloping ocean bottom returns to me. The thought of all that water and all the nameless silent fishes that lurk there makes me shudder. "I'm beside you," Deneb says. He rests his flipper on mine. "I'm right here." I turn my thoughts to the swells around me. The sun rises over land. It will show me the way home. I am not lost. Not completely. I rest with my breather above the water and the sun warming my back. "Home is toward sunrise," I say to Deneb, putting all of my pretend confidence in my voice. "We can go home whenever we want, but we will search here for the fish that have left the coast." I say it like 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘮𝘦 would, steady and strong, like Mother and Great Mother would, like a command that nobody would think to disobey. "I am with you," Deneb says, sounding more confident too. "What will we eat?" "That is the heart of it. Salmon come from the ocean," I say firmly. "They must be here somewhere." I examine the water for things the size and shape of a grown salmon. With no islands or seamounts or even wrecks to gather around, fish are few and most of them small. I spend all day and long into the night searching for a meal. Deneb searches too. Sometimes he points out a fish with his clickstream. "This one," he says, "is this one safe?" But they are all too small, or have a wrong-shaped tail, or a spiny ridge. Some fish are poison. Even a youngling knows it, and every poison fish has pretenders who look dangerous but are delicious, and so every youngling learns to look carefully and only eat the ones you are sure about. But as the day wears on and my hunger grows, I start to think about trying a new fish, trying and risking my life. As the sun sets, Deneb and I come across a swarm of something tiny and pink in the water. Larger fish are eating the tiny pink things, and some of them are salmon size. "There!" Deneb shouts. "We can eat them, right?" I examine the fish closely. They are not quite right in the tail shape, and the curve of the gills is wrong too, but they look so good, so almost right. "Yes, let's give them a try." We move into position. me circling down to drive the fish up, Deneb waiting at the surface to grab them. Out of the depths, a long and deep humming moan drifts toward us. Deneb darts to my side, blasting his clickstream furiously at the new sound. It is a low and slow sound, a thrumming that grows louder. I hurry Deneb away from the bait cloud, and we watch, silently, so the humming creature will not find us. An enormous whale swims into view. It is mink-shaped, with the long grooves under the chin that all gulper whales have. But this one is bigger than a mink, bigger than a singing whale. It is long and strong, with blue-gray speckled skin. "Wow," Deneb whispers as the whale passes by. Even 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮, biggest of all of us, would be small as a herring next to this whale. It keeps going, looking neither to one side nor the other. The fish, eating at the bait cloud, flee into the shadows. The whale does not lunge. It merely opens its great mouth, chin billowing outward, and then closes it. A second gulp, and then a third follow. The bait cloud is down to a few scattered pink things. The larger hunting fish are nowhere to be seen. But I cannot think about that now. I am filled with wonder at what we have seen. Mother and great-mother have never told me about this creature. I gaze at him, committing every detail to memory. I will tell them of this moment for the rest of my life. This meeting with the king, the Chinook of whales. "Wow," Deneb says as the whale disappears from view. "Wow, wow," he shouts. He circles me and then leaps clear of the water. "That was amazing!" I feel the fizz of bubbles against my skin. "A lucky sign," I say. "We will find our family, and we will find our salmon too. I know it." I lift my head to the darkening sky. My name star shines above me. I am a world away from my home waters, but she is as bright and blue as ever. Deneb's star follows mine over the arch of the sky. I drink in the beauty of them both, and it does fill me up, as Great-Mother said it would. The shaking of the sea has thrown everything I know out of shape. I am still scrambling to make sense of it. But the sky is bigger than any wave. It has a steady strength that endures. I will find the way. I must. Chapter 19. Vanished Kinship. The king of whales disappears into the blue-green haze. Incredible. I thought the stranger was big, but this whale is huge. I wish the stranger was still with us, so that he could see it. I hope someday I'll find him again, so I can tell him about it. I have never felt so small in my life. But this kind of small doesn't feel bad, because even though the open ocean is lonely and full of emptiness, it must be a good place if a whale as amazing as that lives here. We are going to be okay, Vega and me. I am not afraid. I admit it. I had a moment of doubt when she led us into the path of a human carrier. But I was wrong about her. So wrong. She's the only wayfinder of them all, brave enough to try the depths of the blue wilderness. No shape of a familiar shore to guide her, but she knows where to go, like the wayfinders from the old stories. Achilles afraid of depths, though she'd never admit it. Even mother and great-mother don't stray past the edge. And now I've seen something that even 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮, for all his age and bigness, has never seen. Already I'm making up a story about it. I swim at Vega's side all night long. We doze together when the sun is high in the sky, and keep going long after dark. Vega will find our family. 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 promised she would. I'm hungry, but I'm much too big to complain about it, so I don't. Not one bit. It's exhausting not to. So exhausting it's making me hungry. But Vega will find me salmon. I know she will. They have to be here somewhere. I did think there'd be crowds of fish in the wild. I thought there would be whales everywhere, and dolphins and orcas too. I thought maybe the stranger would follow us. But every time I turn to look, he is still not there. He must have found his mother and sisters. I listen for him anyway, but all I can hear is the distant rumble of big ships, and the faint crackle of little fish eating littler fish, and the constant rush of wind picking up water, shaping it into crests, and then curls, and then the froth and bubble of waves. I blast the click stream downward. I wait for the echo, and wait, and wait. Nothing. My clicks are swallowed up in the dark water below us. I roll over and over in the splash of waves. It tickles nicely, but does nothing to scrape the itchy bits off my skin. Do you see that? Vega says suddenly. Help me listen. I add my clicks to her stream. In the returning echoes, we see orca shapes, many of them. Our family survived, made the sprint for deep water and lived. Relief swoops over me like a flying bird. They lived. They lived. I head toward the distant orca at top speed, but Vega stays put. How could she? I blow out a long string of impatient bubbles, and then I circle back so Vega can lead me to them. But she doesn't. She holds very still and listens some more. What is she waiting for? I start toward our family again, but she still doesn't come after me and take the lead. I blow a hurry-up bubble stream at her, but Vega still waits. I count my breaths, as I've seen Mother do before. Vega worries. Maybe she thinks some fearsome monster is out there. But what if we get stuck? What if she gets too scared to go anywhere? If she can't find me food, the hunger sickness will take me. My family always thinks I'm not listening because, to be fair, I'm often talking. But I do listen, even when they think I'm playing. 4 seasons ago, I overheard the whole story of Triton and his mother. She got tangled in a net, and he couldn't work her free. She sank, and there was no one to help him find food. By the time Great Mother 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘰 arrived, Triton was already terribly thin. His head took a wrong shape. He forgot how to hunt. He forgot how to swim straight and say his name and the names of his family. They fed him every bit of salmon they could find, but it was a lean year, and it was too late. After many days, Triton forgot how to open his breather. He sank too. I know that every living thing sinks in the end. There's something magnificent about the way a great mother sinks, by the light of the round moon, in the hushed moment between push and pull, with her kinship gathered around her, chanting her name. No, I'm not afraid of sinking, but to forget things, how to hunt, how to speak. That's a terrible end. I shiver and huff out a sharp breath to send the thought out of my head. Vega is holding completely still, except for the nervous twitch she has at the corners of her flukes. She is wiser than she knows, Uncle Regal said. It's true, but she doubts herself. She hesitates. I want to shout at her. Just pick something. But Uncle Regal never shouts. Uncle on Terrace doesn't either. I nudge Vega to rise with me. I breathe slowly and deeply so that she will too. I hum the tuneless thrum that Uncle Regal so often croons when Great Mother is reading the night sky or feeling the currents of the sea. I rub my head against the tenderest spots on Vega's chin. I'm beside you, I say, always. She breathes, and then she decides. We'll go a little closer, she says. So we do, advancing ever closer, all through the dark of the night. Each time we look, the echoes are more and more perfectly orca-shaped. Each time there are more of them, more than our entire kinship. Are they steel eaters, like the stranger? I don't think so, Vega says. We have not seen any seals or sea lions in the blue wilderness. Not one. Besides, they are talking a lot, just like we do. What are they saying? Will they hurt us? No, Vega says firmly. There is a treaty among orcas older than ice. No orca may sink a tooth into another, nor hold her breather under water. This is not our way. It's true. Nobody nibbles me, even when I deserve it. Who are they? I thought no orca could live in the open ocean. I wonder, Vega murmurs, could they be the vanished ones? Many seasons ago, when I wanted to swim over the edge, Great Mother told me a story about a family from our own kinship many generations ago, who strayed into the wild and never came back. Do you think this is them? Let's find out. Vega clears a bubble from her breather and calls out, I am Vega, daughter of 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩, great daughter of Syria, of the warm-word kinship of salmon eaters. All the orca turn as one and look at us. A great wave of clicks flies in our direction. I want to hide behind Vega, but then, remembering Uncle Regal, I move beside her, flipper touching flipper. I am Deneb. A nervous bubble slips out. Deneb, brother of Vega, son of 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩, and great son of Syria, of the kinship of warm-word salmon eaters. My heart pounds as loud as my voice. One of the females, the sleekest and fattest of them all, swims forward. She is flanked on both sides by males with fins that tower over mine. She begins to speak, slowly, as though she is telling a story to a youngling. I try to understand, but in the end I trust Vega to work out the meaning, one wayfinder to another. The mothers come forward first and speak a word into the space between us. The brothers speak after the sisters, and then the younglings and babies chirp what must be their names. I listen carefully. One youngling says his name over and over, just like 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩 always does. I quietly give it a try. I practice, and then I say it out loud. The baby squeaks with delight, swims up to me, and blows a baby-sized bubble under my chin. I pick the little one up with my nose and give him a zoom in circles around his own mother. A pleased hum rises from the vanished ones. It is all right, Vega calls to me. We're allowed to travel with them. But I'm already gone, swimming after the youngling, copying his noises as we leap out of the water side by side. Chapter 20. Hunt. I swim among the new orcas, relieved to have other wayfinders nearby. I wish I could understand them, but even so, I can hardly believe my luck. The vanished ones out of legend. Who else could they be? An ancient story come to life. And there are so many of them, more than my whole kinship. They have babies and younglings, not just Deneb's new friend, but many more. I feel a twinge of envy. When I first heard about Mother's sister and cousins who were captured all those years ago, I made up stories about them for myself, about all the babies they would have had, my cousins. I chose secret names for them. Sometimes when I played, my imaginary cousins crowded around me, loud and loving in mine. I am too old for the game now, but not too old to miss my cousins who were never born. I watch the youngling females, notice how they shadow their bigger sisters, hear their lively chatter, see how they stroke each other for comfort as they swim. I miss 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩 as intensely as the moment I let her body go, and I am angry that the pain and loss of those long-ago captures are not over. Not for me, not for my entire kinship. I wish I could talk to my new companions. I am full to bursting with questions. I try a few words, easy ones, and get no response. I listen and listen, but I cannot piece together what they are saying. I want to learn, but I am afraid to make a mistake. Still, the vanished ones do not shun me. They allow Deneb and me to swim among them, as if we are family, and I am grateful. We travel at a steady pace. The water itself draws us along, a current like the daily push and pull, but steady and flowing, always in the same direction. Perhaps my family is in the same current, looking for me. I listen for them as we travel, and dream of them when we stop to doze. When the half-moon rises, the vanished ones move on. They spread out as they swim. They take turns making swim shadows for their younglings, and the older one with the broken flipper, who cannot swim as fast as the rest. They whistle to each other to keep the huge group together. When their clicks light up a big shape ahead of us, I feel a hum of excitement run through the entire group. They take off at top speed. "A hunt!" Deneb calls. "A hunt at last!" His little friend hangs back with his mother, but Deneb sprints ahead. "Be careful!" My voice is lost in the excitement of the hunt. I clickstream along with the rest, looking for the shapes of fish, hoping for salmon, but willing to eat whatever they will help me find. We speed along at the surface. Ahead I see a swirl of little fish, feeder fish, the kind that salmon eat. Yes, salmon at last. As we get closer, I see bigger fish stalking the edges of the swirling bait cloud. They are much too large for salmon, and something is wrong with their tails. The bottom half has the regular shape, and the top half is long and thin, like a giant eel. They swim up to the edge of the fish swarm and smack it with their tails. I see one lift its head and eat the stunned fish. It has a moon-shaped mouth. A shark! There are sharks aplenty in our home waters, but none with this long tail. I have never heard of sharks like these, not even in stories. The wayfinder dives, and all of her biggest sisters dive with her. They swim below the sharks and drive them up to the surface. The sharks are swift and strong. They leap clear of the water, their tails trailing behind them. The hunters leap after them. Feeder fish scatter as the vanished ones attack the sharks. But these sharks are no easy prey. They are quick to turn and lash back. I am shocked to see the slash of a tail leave bloody marks on flippers and flukes. Still, the wayfinder is a brilliant hunter. She presses a shark upward, and one of her sisters breaches above it and comes crashing down right on top of it. There is a great crunch, and the shark stops moving. On my other side, another of the mothers has a shark by the fin. She swings its body through the air so that it smacks hard against the water. One of the uncles sinks his teeth into its head, while another bites the base of the tail. Blood dims the water. "Deneb, where are you?" And then a shark below me swerves upward, tail lashing from side to side. It heads straight for me. I leap out of the water, but when I come down, the shark is right in front of me. I jump again, looking for an escape. All around me, the ocean is bubbling with the attack, and I am at the center of the storm. "I'm here!" Deneb squeaks. He smashes into the shark with all his strength. The shark spins, slashes, and then abruptly goes still as two of the vanished ones bite deep into its side. A moment of thrashing, and it's all over. The remaining sharks dive together for the safety of dark water and leave the vanished kinship to feast on their take. My heart pounds wildly. Blood and shimmering bits of shark skin drift in great clouds around me. "They eat sharks," I murmur, amazed. Deneb swims up to me with a chunk of shark in his mouth. "Try it," he says. "I know you're hungry." We Don't eat sharks, is what I almost say. We have never eaten them before. But here we are, in the wild, with nothing else to eat, and I have never been so hungry. I dread the very thought of hunger sickness. How will I take care of my brother if I grow so thin I cannot even remember my own name? I look anxiously at him, so lean where he should be plump. It looks delicious, I lie, and take the bite Deneb offers. He circles back to a carcass and tears off more. We both chew and chew and chew. It's crispy on the outside, Deneb says, also lying. The shark's skin grates against my teeth like a mouthful of sand. It hurts my tongue as I push the chunk out of my mouth. I glance at the vanished ones who are gulping down great mouthfuls with cheerful abandon. How do they do it? Don't eat the skin, I say to Deneb. Remember how the fur of that seal made you bleed inside? The shark's skin will be worse. Deneb is still chewing. He swims more slowly. I hold the gritty skin in my teeth and turn the softer meat toward him. He takes a bite and then another. Better, he mumbles. Much better. He lolls near the surface. I tear off more and feed it to him. Will you hold a piece for me now? I ask, after Deneb has eaten his fill. I should not have to ask. Deneb sounds almost sleepy. I nudge him, and he grips the food by the rough side so that I can eat the good parts. It is not as oily rich as salmon, but I am not complaining. When I come back to Deneb for another mouthful, he is dozing. Deneb, I fed you! Deneb startles awake, gives me a truly remorseful look, and then dozes off again while I am still trying to eat. The chunk of food he is holding falls away into the depths. Hey! I shout. We're family! We are supposed to help each other! He closes his eyes. Are you even listening? I poke him in the side. A burst of blood flows into the water from his other side. Deneb? I frantically clickstream his whole body. I swim to his other side. Deneb! There is a long, curving gash below his flipper. It flaps open and shut with the roll of the ocean. No, no! What have you done? I press my body against his wound, holding it shut. I saved you, Deneb says, like 𝘚𝘩𝘪𝘬𝘦 would. You should have told me you were hurt. I was hungry. What have I done? I whisper. Oh, what am I going to do? I press against his wound, holding the edges together. I move him to clear water, away from the blood that brings sharks and trouble. I am not strong enough for trouble. Still, I watch for it. The vanished kinship finish their feast and move on without us. I stay at Deneb's side through the setting of the moon and the rising of the sun. I stay with him all day until the sun sets and the moon shines down on us, two lonely creatures, like little stars in the boundless sky. In the darkness, I sense something large and stealthy watching us, silently. But when I turn to look, I see only shadows. Nothing hunts us, I tell myself. Nothing hunts us. Mother promised. But I do not know if her promises hold true so far from home. I tell every story I can remember, except for the ones with monsters. Far beneath, the watcher is still waiting. I sing to Deneb as he dozes. I keep myself awake by making up tales about all the unfamiliar fishes that swim by. I remember the majesty of the giant whale. I marvel at the delicate drifts of jellies and the dark gray birds who swim through the air on impossibly long wings. I shower Deneb's wound with my most soothing clicks, and on the morning of the second day, his skin holds fast, and the shadows that circled us in the dark are gone. Do not go anywhere, I command him. Before Deneb can say, I promise, I am asleep. In my dreams I swim in the silvery green waters of my own Salish sea. The wayfinders of my kinship are beside me. I pour out to them every question in my weary heart, and they say to me, "We are beside you, always, always, always." When I wake, I know what I must do. Know it as I know my own name. Chapter 21. Homeward. Deneb, we are going home. Home? Deneb looks up at me. I'm ready, he says. Once he would have leaped and splashed and swum circles around me. Now he slips into place in my swim shadow and waits for me to lead him. The sun rises, marking the way home. I study the roll of the waves and the press of currents. This way, I say firmly, turning coldward and angling toward the sunrise. I do not know how long it will take, or even if we are strong enough to make it all the way back. Days and days, with nearly nothing to eat, and my head, my whole body, aches. But there is no food for us in the blue wilderness. And the truth of it all, the part I cannot bear to tell my brother, is that there might not be food for us at home either. But I will not let him sink out here in the wild, far from the Salish sea and the bones of our ancestors. I will bring him home. I will scour the sea to feed him, and if there is nothing left, I will guard him until his last breath. We travel all day and all through the night, fighting the current the whole time. The ocean feels empty without the vanished ones. The gray birds, more wing than body, soar above us. They hold their wings steady, tilting to one side and the other as the wind carries them. I wish the water was as easy as the air, but their company encourages me. Deneb and I stop twice to doze. Weak as he is from the shark bite, he still keeps to my side without one chirp of complaint. We keep heading toward the rising sun in the morning. In the heat of the day, we rest and let the sun warm us. We swim again as the water cools, turning our flutes to the setting sun. I hope for a clear night so I can find the moon. For the last 2 nights, the moon has been half full, all the light I need. Great Mother calls the sun and the moon her older sisters, and I am grateful for their light. I am not wise enough to find my way by currents alone, as Great Mother does on foggy days. So I watch for the moon and the rising sun. I hope for clear skies, and I choose the way as best I can. Late on our 3rd day, the sea bottom begins to slope upward. We find a flatfish hiding in the mud. It is little more than a mouthful once we each take our share. I try to give Deneb the whole fish, but he just as stubbornly refuses my half. "I need you," is all he says. He has grown thinner over our journey, and I stay alert for signs of hunger sickness, confusion, memory loss, and the wrong shape of the head. No brother would dare call a sister skinny, but I hear Deneb checking my belly and sides more than once when he thinks I am not paying attention. Each time he mutters to himself, "Okay, good so far." I am not so sure. I have never felt so weary in my life. How will I know if the hunger sickness strikes? What if I start leading my brother the wrong way? The urge to give up and go to sleep wraps around me like the tentacles of an octopus. There is nothing to do but keep going. I am too exhausted to even think about what we will find or not find when we get home. As we approach the shore, I look above and below the water for way markers. Every river that flows into the ocean makes a fishtail mark in the mud. Each one has its own shape, fainter for slow-moving rivers, deeper and longer for big rivers. The entrance into the Salish Sea has the biggest fishtail of them all. The seas shake, and the giant waves have changed the shape of the fishtails, some a little and some a lot. I struggle to find the waymarkers I knew before. I thought they would always be the same. I am surprised when Deneb says, "Hey, isn't that the little island off Land's End?" It is. The island is smaller than it was before. A section of cliff has fallen into the water. A flutter of fear zings through my body. I lift my head. Everywhere I turn, things look different. The shore is lined with broken trees, their bark and branches stripped away. The landboat path is empty. A thin rime of boat blood floats on the surface, making my eyes sting. And it is quiet. So quiet I can see farther than I ever have before. A thing carrier has its nose mired deep in the sea bottom, its biting end up in the air. I can spot the circle-shaped teeth, not spinning, but holding still. Rectangles from the top of the thing carrier are strewn across the mud in a jumble. Sometimes a thing carrier loses a few rectangles in a storm, but I have never seen so many of them break free. Already algae are claiming them. Crabs scuttle across the tops, and spiny urchins will soon follow. The tiny fishes that burrow in sand are swirling around looking for a new place to dig. "Good luck, little sand hiders," I call. They feed our beloved salmon, and they are the first hopeful sign I have seen. I can actually hear a little shush of sound when the sand hiders find a gravelly spot they like and dive in tail first. I've seen it many times, but never heard it. I cannot resist. I follow the tiny fish away from the heap of rectangles. Swoosh, swoosh. I can hear the faint whispers of each one. Incredible! Deneb follows me faithfully. "Are we going to eat those little guys now?" he says, trying hard and failing completely to be enthusiastic. "Of course not!" I shake off my embarrassment. "Don't be silly." I clickstream in a big circle. It is uncanny. There are no net boats, no watcher boats. Even the tiny growlers that fly through the air, leaving a cloud stripe behind them, are gone. "What happened to the humans?" Deneb asks. "Did they disappear?" "Maybe they are frightened like the sand hiders," I say. "Maybe they are hiding too." I think long and hard about our salmon. It is still the season when the mountains call them home. Will they come this year? If the net boats stay ashore, there will be more salmon for us. Maybe. We will find the gathering place, I decide. If any of our kinship are still in the sea, they will look for us there. I head for the coldward side of the passage. The pull gives way to the push, and we swim more quickly. Deneb is moving faster too, in spite of his wound, which must still be hurting terribly. His skin is hardened, and he can push his flukes with more strength, but he needs food to get well. "Will I have a scar?" he says, rolling to the side to give me a look. "I will! I can tell! Will it be bigger than Uncle Regal's?" "You will have a curved scar. Uncle Regal's is straight," I say. I cannot believe he is proud of it. I feel awful every time I see that scar. I did not protect him. He could have sunk out there in the wild, so far from home. "It is quite long," I say firmly, "and deep. Nobody else in our whole kinship has a shark scar like yours." Deneb hums as he swims, no doubt thinking about the story of his adventure and how to tell it for dramatic effect. I have no such lightness of heart. There is no way to know if our family survived. Still, Mother could be here. Our whole family could. They could be right around the next point, beyond the next island, searching, just like me. When the gathering place comes into range, I shout, "I am Vega! daughter of 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩, granddaughter of Syria of the wormward salmon eaters. My voice rings out in the quiet sea. Deneb, brother of Vega, son of 𝘚𝘪𝘵, great son of Syria, of the mighty kinship of salmon eaters. His little fin breaks the surface of the sea, and he breathes out the tallest cha he can make, like the uncles always do, to announce our presence. I could cry. He is so little, and he is trying so hard. I lift my chin and swing it from side to side to catch the smallest sounds in the water. We are over the shallows now, and the familiar nip and nibble of crabs and urchins rise from the rocks below. A far-off moan comes from a scooper whale. I look above the water and hear seals grunting to each other on the shore. I slide back under water, still listening. Finally, and very faintly, I hear, I am 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘦, daughter of Nova, great daughter of Syria. And then, me! I am me! Chapter 22. Found. 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘦! I shout. I swim with all my strength, leaving Deneb behind, not even caring that he cannot keep up. Is it really her? When my cousin comes into sight, I leap for joy. 𝘊𝘮𝘮𝘦! She is alive! Vega, you found us! 𝘊𝘮𝘮 rubs her whole body along my side with a shiver of relief. I look all around, but I see only 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩. He reaches out his little flipper toward me, but I keep looking for Mother and Great-Mother, Uncle Regal and Aunt Nova. Anyone. Thank you, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 sighs. Thank you for coming back to me. I return her nuzzles and keep looking for my mother. She will turn up any moment. They all will. I am sure of it. 𝘊𝘮𝘮 would never be so bold as to leave her family. But all I see is 𝘚𝘪𝘵. He is as sleek and fat as a baby should be. But 𝘊𝘮𝘮 is terribly lean. The shine has gone out of her eyes. I see strings of milk drippings from 𝘚𝘪𝘮's mouth. 𝘊𝘮𝘮 has nursed him. Her son has remained strong, but at a terrible cost. You're here, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 murmurs. I knew you'd come. I see that she is looking over my shoulder, just as I am looking over hers. Deneb charges right into us. 𝘊𝘮𝘮! 𝘚𝘪𝘮! I found you! He swims circles around us, gleefully smacking his tail. 𝘚𝘪𝘮 is at his side in an instant, making big noises as best he can. 𝘊𝘮𝘮 keeps looking beyond them, up the passage that leads to the ocean. Vega, she begins. It's just Deneb and me, I say softly. I do not know what else to say. Sorry is not nearly enough. My heart aches. I have been holding on to the fragile bubble of my courage, day after weary day. I have imagined my family swimming with me, Mother's strength, Great-Mother's wisdom, the courage of my aunts. I told myself that all I had to do was find them, and they would take care of everything. I thought our family would be with you, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 says. Me too, I answer. Just a few seasons ago, we were playmates, balancing kelp and eelgrass on our heads, daring each other to lick a squid, racing with porpoises. I start to think about the journey we have in front of us, more daring and dangerous by far than any of our childhood games. 𝘊𝘮𝘮 is older than me. By right, she should take the lead and make the choices, but she is shockingly thin. She does not have the strength to lead. She might not even have the strength to follow. Rest now, I croon as I soothe her with the most healing clickstream I know how to make. I want to cry. I want to sleep. I want my mother. I have already done so much. I want someone else to find the way. 𝘚𝘪𝘵 inspects Deneb's new scar and listens with awestruck attention to the story of our adventures. I imagine Deneb in his old age, the oldest brother of a vast kinship, a towering fin, a dashing scar, maybe a bit creaky in the spine, but still spinning stories for the younglings who flock around him at every gathering. The master storyteller he will be some day is already inside him. I love him like I love the wide sea, and the rising sun, and my own skin, and the sound of my mother's voice. I cannot blame 𝘊𝘮𝘮 for giving away all she had to give. I would have done the same. Any mother would. And yet I cannot hide from the truth. The hunger sickness is coming for 𝘊𝘮𝘮. It is only days away. If I do not find Salmon, I will lose her. Where did our mothers go? I ask quietly. For the deep, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 says. We all went, but when the big waves came, I lost my son. Her whole body shudders at the memory of it. I went after him. I left them behind to search. The waves came again and again, but I didn't give up. And you found him, I say, all by yourself. But then I couldn't find Great Mother, or Aunt 𝘚𝘪𝘮𝘬𝘦, or Uncle Regal. I didn't know where to go, so I found my way here. She nods toward 2 pillars of rock that stand on one end of the gathering place. The top of one is lying in pieces on the sand below. I see bruises and rub marks where 𝘊𝘮𝘮 was struck with all the things the waves carried. I know our family will come here if only... 𝘊𝘮𝘮 shivers again. If only they survived, I say. I look around one more time, still hoping Mother and Great Mother will appear. Boulders and trees and net boats litter the bottom of the sea. The water has a sour tang. Where did the salmon go? I ask. I don't know, 𝘊𝘮𝘮 moans. She rocks from side to side in her distress. I've seen a few come from the ocean, but I'm not strong enough to hunt them. Not alone. 𝘊𝘪𝘮 is hungry. What will I do if... She cannot bear to say it, but we both know that if the hunger sickness comes, it will take her milk first, and then her memory. I will not let it happen, I say. I think about the day I carried my sister's body to Blood Cove. Not today. Not ever. 𝘊𝘪𝘮 and Deneb are playing with a scrap of net as carefree as younglings should be. I feel a wave of stubbornness and pride grow in me like a winter storm. I will not let you sink, I silently promise. I will go as far as it takes and kill whatever I must to keep you alive. I turn to 𝘊𝘮𝘮, but in my mind I see 𝘊𝘮𝑒𝑙𝑎 as she would have been all grown up. You are not alone now, I say firmly. I circle the gathering place, thinking hard. Our family must be somewhere along the coast. 𝘊𝘮𝑒𝑙𝑎 would have heard them return, especially now that the water is quiet. I want to race back to the ocean and find my mother and follow her lead faithfully as I have my whole life. But 𝘊𝘮𝑒𝑙𝑎 is too weak for the ocean currents. 𝘊𝘪𝘮 and Deneb need me now. There is no one else to lead them. Where will we go? 𝘊𝘮𝑒𝑙𝑎 says. Our salmon could be anywhere. I feel my doubts growing. What if I choose wrong? No, those doubts are a stone I do not have to carry. I cannot be timid. Not now. I have come too far for that. The mountains call to the salmon, I say. I lift my head above the water and turn to the sunrise side of the sea. The mountains are still there, in spite of the shaking. The biggest mountain will call the loudest, just as the biggest whale has the loudest voice, I decide. I remember a flat-topped mountain, tallest of them all, near the warmward reach of the sea. Other mountains go gray in the heat of the warm season, but this one is always white-capped and gleaming. There is a mountain, I say. Great Mother called it Mother of Rivers. It is the biggest one of all. We will find our salmon there. I have made my choice, and if I chose wrong, there is no one to blame but me. Do you know the way? 𝘊𝘮𝑒𝑙𝑎 asks. What if we get lost? I call on every memory I have of the warmward waters. Salmon have always come before. Going up the rivers to the mountains is their life. I push my doubts aside and swallow my fears. We have to try. Vega is wiser than she knows, Deneb announces in a careful imitation of 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦𝘯𝘵 voice. I will follow her anywhere, he adds stoutly. He swims to my side. Follow, follow, 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘮 chirps. He nuzzles his mama and then cuddles up to me for good measure. I'm tired, 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 says. So tired. But if you know the way, I will go with you. The wind is at our flukes, I say gently. I will not leave you behind. I take the wayfinder's place and lead the remnant of my family away from our gathering place and toward the mountains, I hope. Toward food, I hope. I am not sure about any of it. I only know I have to try. Chapter 23. Hunger. Vega leads us away from the gathering place. 𝘊𝘰𝘮 slips into my usual spot in her swim shadow. Hey! I'm about to nudge her away so we can travel like we always did before. Me and Vega's shadow and 𝘊𝘪𝘵𝘩 with 𝘊𝘰𝘮. But when I come close, I see the swollen bump on her body, where she was struck by something huge and heavy, and another lump farther down her back. A bruise shows on the white part of her belly. Hey, what? 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 snaps, already mad at me, even though I haven't done anything wrong yet. Hey, 𝘊𝘪𝘵, I say, let's catch an octopus. Oh? 𝘊𝘪𝘵 looks to his mother and then back at me. They are very tricky to catch, I add, and dangerous. Ooh, 𝘊𝘪𝘵 comes to my side and immediately starts blasting his little clickstream in all directions. You're going to be a great octopus finder, I tell him. I launch into my best octopus story, hoping that I have chosen the right thing, the thing that helps. 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 sighs, sounding more tired than mad now. Keep close, Vega says. We travel slowly and rest often. I want to find the salmon now. I want to fly through the water at top speed and be there already. But my scar does not feel as great as it looks. Every downward push with my flukes makes my newly mended skin ache, and it's harder to swim with nobody bigger pulling me along in their shadow. I sing to 𝘊𝘪𝘵 because I need the encouragement myself. He chimes in with his little chirp, side by side, fin, fluke. Vega calls out sea marks as we go past them, but I don't recognize a single one. Old pillars have tumbled. Tangles of broken trees drift by. Giant kelp float over deep water, ripped from their holdfasts. Huge drifts of mud cover places that were rocky before. Sandy shorelines are scraped down to bare rock. Ravens and eagles and bears, the great eaters of dead things, are thick on the shore. Strangest of all, the water is quiet. A small windboat crosses well in front of us. A few of the dragonfly boats creep along. Nothing else is moving. Vega and 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 call out their names as we travel and listen for answers. At first, only echoes come back. As the morning wears on, we hear a pair of dolphins and the confused grunts and huffs of seals searching for their uprooted kelp forests. We stop at a shallow place to rest. Vega and 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 put their heads together and talk. For once, 𝘊𝘰𝘮 doesn't get bossy, and Vega doesn't swim off in a temper. Together they untangle our way. I miss 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮 more than ever. I try to be steadfast like him, a calm place in a moving sea. But I don't feel steady or strong. I can barely stay awake. 𝘊𝘪𝘵 is weary too. He pokes at 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝑮's milk spots, but nothing comes out. Hungry, he whines. I hustle him away from 𝘵𝘮𝘮 and rock him between my flippers. He's so exhausted it only takes a moment for him to fall asleep. I doze beside him. When I wake, the sun is going down, and I hear the wayfinders arguing. "I can't," 𝘵𝘮𝘮 whimpers, "like a youngling. I'm not strong enough." "You are," Vega says. She makes her voice firmer and deeper like Great Mother. "We have come so far already." "We aren't even halfway," 𝘵𝘮𝘮 wails, not comforted at all. "And soon the pull will be against us." They can't give up. I won't let them. I wake 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩 and tuck him into my swim shadow. My scar aches, but I pretend that it doesn't. "I'm ready," I announce. I give 𝘚𝘪𝘵 a nudge. "Ready," he echoes. "See," Vega says proudly, "they're ready." We travel on in the growing darkness, even more slowly than before. When the push turns to pull, we find a quiet cove to rest in. The moon is growing rounder and brighter each night. I look on in it like a promise. There is food somewhere, and my sister will lead us to it. Vega tells me to sleep, so of course I pretend to. She checks each one of us for the signs of hunger sickness. So far we are only thin, but not wrong-shaped. Vega calls out her name to the empty sea. We both lift our chins to collect the faintest and most far-away sounds, listening for our family to call back. They don't, but even so I am proud of my sister, wayfinder of the mightiest kinship in the sea. I swim to her side and nudge her gently. "Rest," I say, "rest and let me watch." To my surprise, she agrees and then falls into line with 𝘵𝘮𝘮 and 𝘚𝘪𝘵, rising and breathing as one. I watch over my family as the moon rises big and orange. I guard them as it fades to yellow and then white. When the pull gives way to push, I wake them. We swim into the long, narrow channels of the Homeward reach. Many humans live here, and they are loud, loud, loud. But today it's spooky quiet. The places where boats nest along the shore are in shambles. One boat stacked up on another, or turned upside down. Land boats are off their paths, not darting back and forth, but lying empty on their backs or sides. Usually we go quickly past the noisy piles of towering gray and black rectangles where so many of the humans live. Now the big rectangles are tilted against each other, their skins stripped away so that you can see the rising sun through their bones. Smoke drifts up and makes a smudge across the sky. We make our way more slowly now. I start to recognize things. The smaller bend, and then the larger one with the high bridge. Eagles and hawks soar low over the water. Grabbers at the ready, hunting. 𝘵𝘮𝘮 stops swimming altogether and lets the push carry her. When we come to a side channel, we clickstream to look for salmon. Vega calls her name. We rest and wait for an answer. No salmon, no answer. 𝘵𝘮𝘮 sighs and says nothing, but she gives Vega a silent nudge of encouragement, and Vega takes the lead again. 𝘚𝘪𝘵 is so sleepy he is zigzagging. I guide him to the middle, between me and 𝘵𝘮𝘮, so he doesn't go astray. Seals swim past. Even otters are traveling more quickly than us. I hear the chitter and squeak of a porpoise. When he comes into view, his sleek gray sides are a web of nicks and cuts, but he's clickstreaming for food, trying his best, just like us. "Good luck, tiny whale," I say to him as he goes by. We let the push carry us past one island and then another. "Almost there," 𝘵𝘮𝘮 says. "Can't stop now." She gives Vega another nudge, and we keep going. At last the mother of rivers appears, all crowned in snow on the horizon. There should be a prairie of eelgrass here, on the soft muddy bottom where the river meets the sea. But the grass is gone. Only a few shreds of it drift and flicker in the water. The mud is scraped away, leaving a barren, pebbly stretch of empty ground. There is a swarm of something right where the river should be. Eagles circle above it. A bull sea lion and the mothers of his family swim past us, all muscle and fang. Seals are on the move too. Salmon eaters, all of them. Something is going on up there. Vega sees it too. She doesn't stop to catch her breath. She doesn't wait for 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘳𝘓. "I am giving you a ride, 𝘊𝘪𝘵𝘩," Vega says. She swoops under him and lifts him up. She speeds toward the mouth of the river. "Are they there?" 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘳𝘓 says. "Is it really true?" "I think it's them," I shout. "Let's go!" We dash along side by side, all our tiredness forgotten, past the last of the islands, and yes, there they are, Chinooks, king of all salmon, gathered in a swirling moon like giant herrings. Vega darts into the swarm, 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘳𝘓 at her side. She catches one and brings it to me to share, but I have already caught mine, a big one. I gulp down the big fish, feeling the burst of oil in my mouth, the satisfying crunch of bone, the delicious crackle of skin. This is the food that feels right in my belly, the food I was born to eat. I've never seen so many salmon in one spot. They are fat and heavy. I gorge myself, eating 10 and then 20 more. Vega and 𝘚𝘩𝘢𝘳𝘓 do the same. We feed 𝘊𝘪𝘓. I grow dizzy from the feeling of being full. I knew Vega could do it, and I was right. She is the queen of wayfinders. We will never be hungry again. Chapter 24. Salmon. I stop hunting for a moment, just a moment, to let out a deep cha of gratitude. They followed me. They were more exhausted, more hurt, more sad than they ever been in their lives, but they followed me just the same. I thought about giving up when the waymarkers looked so different. I felt like giving up when we saw the kelp forests broken away from their holdfasts, and the sandy beaches stripped down to bare rocks. I did not know I had the strength to keep going. But here we are, one right thing in an upside-down world. I watch my family with a rush of pride. I found food for them, like a true wayfinder. Even 𝘊𝘪𝘓 has made a catch of his own. We did this together. We are the youngest of our kinship, and we found our salmon. All around me, other hunters grabbed their share. Seals, sea lions, eagles. They eat their fill, and still the salmon do not run up the river to escape. Something prickles my memory. Look to the water. What touches the water touches us all. The memory of my great mother's words rings like the warning bell. Salmon are never this easy to hunt. Something is wrong. I check the mud for the broadfish tail that marks the river's mouth. The bottom is scraped down to bare gravel. I look to the shore for the opening of the river. I search for the push of fresh water against my body. I lift my head above the skin of the sea. Where there was once an outlet, now there is a tangle of broken trees, boulders, and land boats. I leap to look over the tangle. Behind it, water stretches out in a vast, flat lake where there was once grass and trees, and the nests of more birds than there are stars in the sky. All of it is underwater. I turn back to the salmon, now many fewer than before. A bull sea lion bites deep into a salmon right in front of me. Its belly bursts open. 1,000 red-orange eggs pour out and swirl before me like tiny bubbles. They dance for a moment in sunlit waters and then sink into the darkness. The sight of them hits me like a bolt of lightning. Salmon go to the mountains to have their babies. They are wayfinders too. They travel out of the blue wilderness, across the Salish Sea, and into its farthest reach to find the opening of this river. But now their way is blocked. No river, no babies. I feel the tug of those 1,000 tiny lives that will never be born. They are not my kinship, not my family, and yet everything I love will be lost without them. I turn in a frantic circle. Everywhere I look, salmon are being devoured. Deneb, stop! Stop? Deneb says, quickly swallowing the salmon he has caught in one gulp. Why? A cloud of silver scales shimmers around him. They fall through the water like rain. What have I done? 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝘮𝘦! I shout, but 𝘊𝘰𝘮 is deep in the dwindling mass of salmon, frantically eating one after another. Hunger is all she can hear. I am sick inside, as though I have swallowed stones. Deneb, we have to stop hunting and get these salmon to their home river. If we eat them all, they'll never have babies. Deneb stops. He looks at me. If you eat everything, you make a wasteland of the sea, he says. Mother used to tell me that. Yes, they need the river. What river? I do not understand how this happened, but I know it is wrong. Rivers run into the sea, as constant as the stars that swim across the night sky, always in the same direction. I leap again to look over the barrier blocking the mouth of the river. There are boats on the vast lake, longboats, with the beak in front like a great bird. The longboat riders. They are salmon hunters too. Are they coming to take? I watch them, sick with dread. Soon the riders are standing on the rubble. Some have sticks with a big tooth on the end. They lunge and bite at the broken trees. They clear branches away. They prod boulders free with long sticks. I have never seen humans do this work before. They are trying to open the river's mouth, but the rubble is thick and heavy, and they are only humans. I swim along the barrier, clickstream the sides of it, probing for a place to break through. The rubble is thick everywhere, but some places are more rocky, and some are choked with overturned land boats. Those will be hard to move, but a little farther on, I find a spot that is mostly trees with mud and sand. Trees float, and water can push away mud. We have to open the river, I shout to Deneb. Try here. Deneb grabs a branch in his teeth. It breaks off. He tries again. It breaks again, and the trunk is still in place. We need help, I say. I call 𝘊𝘰𝘮𝑧's name, but she is still deep in the hunt and does not hear me. I hurry back to the humans, wondering how I will tell them to come. Nobody even agrees that humans can talk. I leap to get their attention. They look up from their work, but only for a moment. I study them carefully and choose the one with the pearl-colored hair. The others listen to her. When she points, they go where she is pointing. A human wayfinder. Perfect. This way, I call to her. We need your help. Our salmon will die if you do not come. The human wayfinder does not hear me. Hurry, I shout. She keeps working with her fellow humans. I snatch a salmon by the tail and show it to her. I toss it onto the barrier in front of her. She bends down and takes the salmon in her grabbers. She carries it to the other side of the barrier and sets it tenderly in the water. Then she turns and looks me right in the eye. I swim toward Deneb, keeping to the surface so that she can see me clearly. She follows. I lead her to the weak spot. I take a tree trunk in my mouth and pull. It does not budge. I put my head against it and push with all my strength. The human probes into the mud with her stick. She waves and shouts to her kinship. And they come. I watch her as she shows the other humans where to go and what to do. Lines come out. They wrap them around the tree trunks. Several humans take hold of the lines and pull. Deneb and I go below and push. We can hear the humans chant as they work, all leaning together to give one pull the strength of many pullers. When I come up for air, I see more boats, long and little, paddling across the flooded river. More humans join the work. Some have sticks with a raventail shape at the end. They push the raventail end into the sand and gravel and scoop up bites of the mud that holds the trees fast. The first trunk comes free, but a larger one is beneath it. More lines, more pulling. Deneb takes a small trunk in his teeth and wiggles it loose. Humans shout and clap their grabbers together when he carries it away. I swim below to inspect the barrier. I find the tree trunk they are trying to work free. It is a massive thing, wedged between two boulders. I put my forehead to the flatter side of one boulder and churn my flukes as hard as I can. It will not budge. "I'll help," Deneb says. He puts his head to the boulder but cannot budge it either. "It's too deep in the sand," I say. I turn my flukes to the task, pumping them up and down. I make a swirl of water that stirs up the sand and carries it away. With the sand gone, we can see the trunk bending as the humans above try to pull it free. They are wedging the boulder in more tightly. "They need to stop," I tell Deneb. "How can we get them to stop?" It would be so much better if humans could talk properly. "Humans don't like to be wet," Deneb says. He speeds toward the surface and leaps clear of the water right beside the humans. He flips to his back in the air and hits the water with a mighty crash. His wave splashes over the whole row of humans, and they drop the line. "Now!" Deneb shouts. I put my head to the boulder again and push with all my strength. It rocks. I churn my flukes harder, and it rocks some more. Deneb squeezes in beside me, and together we roll the boulder clear. A shudder goes through the whole barrier. I feel many tiny pushes of water filtering through the thick bank of sand and mud and debris that the boulder was holding in place. The humans shake water from their bodies. They pick up the line again. They chant again. They pull harder. The barrier shakes even more. Humans with scoopers move the sand and gravel away. The lake behind the barrier presses, groaning, against the tangle of rubble. "Deneb!" I shout. "Aquila! Altair! Move away!" A jolt, almost like a sea shake, makes the barrier tremble. It creaks and shudders against the pressure of water. The largest of the trunks pulls free and unleashes the power of the river. It pushes and grinds away the sand and muck. Water swirls through a gap that widens with each beat of my racing heart. The humans drop their line. They shout, raise their grabbers high, leap in the air, and then the water sweeps the barrier away right beneath their feet. "Oh no!" Deneb groans. "Humans aren't good at being wet." Even as he says it, a huge surge of murky water breaks through. A channel opens. I squeeze my eyes and breather closed as a blast of gritty water tumbles me end over end and scrapes my skin raw. I right myself and fight for breath. Where is my family? I scan the surface for fins. Deneb's pops up in front of me, and Altair's tiny fin bobs in the swirling water. "Aquila!" I shout. I sprint to Altair's side to shelter him. The bull sea lion roars in frustration at his interrupted feast. He calls his mothers together and swims to the nearest rocky shore. They haul their bodies out of the water and shake the silt from their fur, growling in protest. Seals follow them, and even the eagles take cover. The gap in the rubble widens, and the river grows stronger as the enormous lake behind the barrier flows out like a mighty wind. Chapter 25. Kinship. The salmon turn as one creature toward the call of the mountain. They fight the force of the river to answer it. "No!" 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮 wails. "What if we never find them again? If we eat them all today, we will be hungry forever after," I shout. "We will make a wasteland of the sea." But 𝘚𝘩𝘮 cannot hear me. The hunger sickness has been chasing her for days. One good hunt cannot wipe out her fear. She charges after the salmon through the gap in the barrier. The force of the water cracks open the barrier even more. Water and mud and branches and roots and entire trees sweep through. I reach for 𝘚𝘪𝘵, but he is not beside me. The sea is thick with broken things, all of them moving fast. The rush of waves around me and the rolling rocks underneath me drown out everything. I lift my head above the churning water. 𝘚𝘪𝘵's little fin is bobbing up and down. He is being pushed toward the islands on the other side of the channel. If the current carries him too far, I may never find him again. 𝘚𝘪𝘵! I shout. I head toward him, but then I remember 𝘚𝘩𝘮. I cannot save them both. Deneb rushes to my side. "Find 𝘚𝘩𝘮!" he shouts. "I'll get 𝘚𝘪𝘵." He sprints toward the islands, calling his cousin's name. I go after 𝘚𝘩𝘮. The pressure of water beats against me as I push through the break in the barrier. Salmon flicker on either side of me, their speckled bodies emerging from the murk of muddy water and then melting out of sight. I swim with all my strength against the flood. The weight of fresh water drags me down. I keep to the surface. Logs and rocks and things I cannot name crash into me and are swept toward the sea. Finally, I glimpse the curve of 𝘚𝘩𝘮�'s fin ahead. Ducks, caught in the current, squawk and flap, and then fly low over the water. A weary mink clings to a log, shaking with exhaustion. I see 𝘚𝘩𝘮�'s fin again, near the crown of a tree. The crown of a tree! When the water drops, we will be stranded, lost on dry land. 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮! I shout. It is no use. She cannot hear me. She does not want to hear me. The current rolls me over. Branches scrape my skin. I squeeze my eyes and breathe tight and lose all sense of which way is up. My flukes hit ground and I push off, gasping and blinking mud out of my eyes. Where is 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮? I swing my head from side to side. The tree! There! "You have to let them go!" I shout. I press my body against hers. I hold her up and make her breathe. I've done all I can for the salmon. I have to save my own family now. I spiral around 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮, guiding her back toward the sea as quick as I can. "We will be lost! We will be hungry!" 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮 wails. I feel an echo of her panic in my own body. Rivers rise every year when the cold season ends and the rains are strong. But I have never seen this much fresh water. Never. The weight of it drags us down. I fight to keep my breather above water. The force of the current rolls us both over and over. My flukes scrape bottom again. My heart pounds wildly. I can feel it getting more shallow. We have to get back to the sea. 𝘚𝘪𝘵 needs you, I shout to my cousin. "Follow me." 𝘚𝘪𝘵, she cries. "Where is he?" "This way." I swim toward the barrier with 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝑮 at my side. Now the press of water speeds us along. The trunk of a tree swoops past us, and one of the roots catches me as it goes by and tears open the skin on my back. The trunk rushes toward the opening in the barrier, but catches on the edge. "Quickly!" I shout. I dread being caught here, trapped, away from our family, away from the salty water of the sea. Boulders rolling along below us shake the ground. We ride through the gap like foam atop a wave. When we break through, the salt of the sea stings in all the places where my skin is broken, but I do not care. I am free. "Where is he?" 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝘬𝘦 shouts. "Follow me." I head toward the islands where I last saw Deneb and 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮𝘮𝘦. I clickstream for them, but the water is a noisy jumble of debris. I jump to look above the water. "Why did you leave him?" 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝘮 shouts. Panic rises up in me like a poison. I clickstream again, but nothing orca-shaped appears. I can't lose them. I can't. "Deneb," I whisper in my own head. "Where did you go?" I remember the last time we were in danger like this, when the giant waves came. As soon as the worst part was over, he wanted to help. He wanted to make things better. I turned back to the barrier where the humans were swept away. Two little fins are headed toward the humans. "Deneb!" I shout. "𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮!" 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝘮 races toward them. Relief washes over me. In a moment, I am beside them both. Deneb has a human draped over his nose. He nudges it toward the humans who are still on solid ground. Another human clings to Deneb's fin. 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 has the flipper of a third human in his little teeth. "Stick! Stick!" he chants happily. "We're helping," Deneb says. "My brother. I am proud of him, and relieved, and so mad that he scared me. I could bite him, but I don't." 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝘮 brushes up against 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮. "Mama!" He drops his human to give her a nuzzle. "I am here now," 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮 says to him. "I will always be here." 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 snuggles up to his mother. "Me beside you," he chirps. I swim to Deneb's side, scooping up the thrashing human that 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 dropped. I bring it to the humans, who pull it out of the water and hold it tight. "Humans have the wrong flippers for swimming," Deneb says, as we swim away. "I don't know why they go in the water at all." The push turns to pull, and we let it carry us away from the churning waters of the newly opened river. We drift until we find a quiet cove, one barely touched by the destruction. We rest. Every muscle aches. I puff grit out of my breather and blink silt out of my eyes. Every torn bit of my skin stings in the clean salt of the sea, and our bellies are full, at last. Deneb and 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 make up a game with sticks and seaweed. "What if we can't find more salmon?" 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝘮 says quietly. "What if we're hungry again?" Deneb zooms by, with 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 right behind him. "Vega knows more than she thinks she does," he shouts. "More! More!" 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮 chirps. He waggles his flippers, as if he cannot even remember the trouble we have left behind. I do not know how little ones let go of hard times so easily. My worries stick to me like so many barnacles. I reach out and drape a frond of kelp over 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝑒's bruised sides. She sighs. We float at the surface, letting the sun warm us. "You braved the great waves," I say, "and you lived. Your son lived. That will be a story for the ages." 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘮 brings me a long, flat blade of kelp. She draws it slowly across my cuts and bruises. The kelp takes the sting away. I thrum my contentment. "I was wrong to doubt you before," 𝘚𝘩𝘀𝘮𝑒 says. She nods toward Deneb and 𝘠𝘪𝘵𝘮, who have moved on to a game of jump the fin. "I miss being like them. I wanted you to be a youngling for as long as you could. I have always known that she wanted the best for me. I knew it even when I was the most crushed by her scolding. Already the sting of those harsh words is fading. Maybe in time they will become scars so small only I can see them." We float on the tide. It has been a long time since I have felt full enough to truly rest. The afternoon shadows reach across the water, but I take in the beauty like food, like air. Even with a full belly, it fills me up to watch the blue-gray, standing bird gazing into the shallows. waiting as still as a stone for a fish to come by. The shine on the water makes a rippling, upside-down shadow of him. Below I see the bright purple and orange sea stars making their slow walks through the rocks and seaweeds below. So much has changed, but some things are still the same. Do you think we will ever find our mothers again? 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘬 says. I do, I say carefully, not wanting to promise. They are looking for us too. In my mind's eye, I see the shape of my home waters. There are many rivers, large and little. Salmon come to most of them. Already I am planning the way. We will look for our salmon, I say, in all the places our mothers taught us to look. I will never let us be hungry again, 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘬 says fiercely. Never! You will be my hunter, and I will be your wayfinder, and we will scour the sea to find our mothers and great-mother, our whole kinship. They could be anywhere, 𝘚𝘩𝘮𝘬 says. I know, but I will never give up. I call to Deneb, and 𝘚𝘪𝘵𝘩 tags along after him, faithful as a shadow. I glance back only for a moment. Humans are standing together on solid ground with the floodwaters going down and the salmon going up. They are reaching toward the sky. I can hear them singing. But then I turn my eyes to the horizon and my mind to the long and perilous adventure ahead, in this wild and mysterious sea that I thought I knew so well. I am grateful and even hopeful. We swim away together, side by side, and fin by fluke. The end.